Ready? And there's the music. Welcome, everybody, to the beautiful banks of the Rhine. I am Brent Kerrigan. I'm joined by Max and Tom Paulus, the famous Paulus brothers, Angela Backman and Fabian Tasing, and we're here for the first game of the German Baseball Championships between the Bonn Capitals and the Paderborn Untouchables.
Herzlich willkommen auch von meiner Seite. Als kurze Information für alle unsere deutschen Zuschauer, der heutige Stream wird auf Englisch.
All right, everybody, it's the sixth time in a row the Capitals have reached the finals, but it's the first time since 2005 that two teams from the North are facing each other. The Caps touched up the Untouchables this year. They won the season series by 3-1. But look, the playoffs are like the start of an entire new season, and the finals the culmination of that. Anything can happen, and we look forward to the excitement today. We have a video that we'd like to begin with, and that is the coach, Max Schmitz.
Max Schmitz, vor dem Finale Paderborn gegen die Capitals. Wie ist die Stimmung im Team?
Die Stimmung ist hervorragend. Wir freuen uns riesig auf eine spannende Finalserie. Alle topfit und wir können es kaum erwarten, dass es losgeht.
Jetzt stehen zwei Nordteams im Finale. Man sagt ja eigentlich immer, der Süden sei stärker.
Ja, das ist immer nur Gerede. Ich glaube, die Antwort gibt es immer auf dem Platz. Ich bin sehr froh, dass es dieses Jahr wieder ganz normale Playoffs gab über Kreuz und sich Norden und Süden schon ab Viertelfinale getroffen haben. Und jetzt sind die beiden besten Teams halt ins Finale gekommen.
Die Paderborner haben überraschend den Favoriten Regensburg rausgehauen im Halbfinale. Was bedeutet das für Paderborn?
Ja, ich glaube, Paderborn ist eine sehr junge, ambitionierte und auch gute Truppe. Und auf jeden Fall ein Team, welches man nicht unterschätzen sollte. Und von daher, ja, war mit Sicherheit überraschend, aber ich glaube, das ist trotzdem verdient gewesen und von daher freuen wir uns auf spannende Spiele.
Und was bedeutet das für euch, wenn ihr einen Gegner trefft, der jetzt auf einer Euphoriewelle schwebt?
Ja, wir dürfen auf jeden Fall nicht den Fehler machen und die Paderborner unterschätzen. Wir haben sie ja auch dieses Jahr schon 4-mal gefaced. Die werden sich aber mit Sicherheit seitdem auch weiterentwickelt haben. Aber das heißt für uns wirklich weitermachen. Das heißt für uns, dass wir uns auf uns konzentrieren und unsere Leistung abrufen. Und wenn wir das tun, dann bringen wir das Ding auch nach Hause.
Ihr seid der Favorit. Wie geht ihr mit der Favoritenrolle um?
Ja, die nehmen wir an, auf jeden Fall. Ich denke, ein Team, was 6-mal hintereinander im Finale steht, hat sich diese Favoritenrolle auch hart erkämpft. Nichtsdestotrotz können wir uns da nichts von kaufen. Deshalb heißt es konzentriert weiterarbeiten. Wie gesagt, auf uns konzentrieren, auf unsere Stärken sich verlassen. Und am Wochenende wissen wir mehr.
Wo steht denn dein Team jetzt, aus deiner Sicht? Leistungsmäßig?
Ach so, ja, leistungsmäßig sind wir top in Form. Es wird auf jeden Fall ein gutes Feuerwerk geben.
Und was ist der Plan fürs Wochenende?
2 Siege.
Welcome back, and as the coach says, we have to be cautious, of course, with a team that you've been beaten in the past, but that this, of course, is a new series, and it is the finals. Let's get to those lineups. And first for the visiting Untouchables, Maurice Benjamin will lead off. He's the catcher. He's batting .323 and by far and away the highest average during these playoffs. He'll be followed by Bjorn Reinhardt. He's playing center field. Fildrik Llewellyn will be third in the lineup. He's at second base. Cleanup hitter is Finn Bergman. He's at third. Nadir Latifi is the shortstop. Luka Remmelman, right field. Ladislav Landwehr is the DH. Linus Nixdorf at first base. And to round out the order, Ian Eberhardt. So, Tom, it's a pleasure to finally get a chance to do a game with you. I've heard lots of great things.
Pleasure is all on my side.
Look, Tom, I'm going to put you on the hot seat right away. How did we get here? For the fans that may just be tuning in for the finals, give me the sort of path that both teams took.
So it's definitely a more surprising matchup because the South has always been by far the better league out of the two in the past few years. And especially Paderborn, really no one expected them to be here today. They beat Haar in a close series in the quarterfinals In Game 5, they won by 3-2, and did the same thing to Regensburg, the really big favorites of this season,
That was
champions
a
of the
surprise.
South. That was a big
Yes.
surprise, especially after losing the second game against them by mercy rule. I think the score was 1-16 or 1-17.
Yeah.
But they really managed to clutch up and win the important games, win Game 5 with a brilliant pitching performance. And Benjamin Taki with a complete game shutout. And so they got their chance, got their spot in the finals, and we'll see them here today.
Absolutely. And for Bonn, what, with respect to their path, did anything surprise you in the playoffs that you saw?
So Bonn always had a bit of trouble offensively in the playoffs in the past years. I always seemed to struggle a little bit. So it was really impressive to see them beat Heidenheim as clearly as they did. I mean, the series was never really close. They won both games 3 and 4 really by a huge margin. Beat up Jared Mortensen, who was one of the best pitchers in the league all year, and won Game 4 to advance. Won both series 3-1, so they've been really impressive. It's been really impressive to see. Been really strong so far.
And how surprised are you personally to see these two teams in the final?
Oh, I would have never expected Paderborn to be here. I mean, you always hope to see Bonn in the finals, and it's been this way for the past 6 years now. But Paderborn, they haven't been in the finals since all the way back in 2012. Oh no, it's even longer. In 2006. They won their last championship in 2005, where they won 5 in a row. But they have struggled in the playoffs in the past years. The last time they beat Bonn in the playoff series was all the way back in 2011.
Uh-huh.
So
Again, this is the first time that we've had this matchup in a long, long time, and this series throughout the year has been somewhat competitive. I mean, what was it, 3-1? I think what we were saying,
and it was Bonn's only loss as well.
It was Bonn's only loss. So if anybody can touch them up, it would be the untouchables. We're looking at the field now, and the players are sort of putting on the this isn't the major league, so it is actually the players out there doing the field work and hosing down the dust. And it's a busy weekend here in Bonn. We've got a concert with a couple thousand. It seems like 100,000 at times,
It's
trying to
around
find
30,000,
parking.
I think.
So there's lots happening here in Bonn, and of course, but the real action, we feel, and in our opinion, of course, is that it's right here at the baseball stadium. So they're going to get moving in a couple of minutes. However, I'm not sure. Just wait and see if they're going to do the anthem. I don't want to cut into the middle of it, but I'll do the Bonn lineup, and of course, if we need to pause, we will. So for the Bonn Capitals today, here's your lineup. Eric Brank leading off. He is, take a wild guess, playing shortstop. He's hitting .366 in these playoffs, and all the stats that we're going to give you today are playoff stats. Wilson Lee hitting second, having a bit of a struggle, and I guess we can talk about that a little bit later in the game. He's struggling for now, .222 average in these playoffs. He's playing right field. Daniel Lamb Hunt, he's batting third and playing position number 3, first base. John Schultz, DH, cleanup hitter. Really hot bat, and we can talk about that as well. .364 on the season, in the playoffs. Sanchez is at third base. Vinny Aarons is at, of course, playing catcher. Danny Lankhorst in center field, followed by Justus Recchi in the number 8 spot. He's in left field. And Eddie Stummel to round out the order, playing second base and hitting .248, although I've got some chicken scratch. My writing is not that easily to decipher, even to myself. But always a fan favorite. And speaking of the fans, we've got lots of people at the game today. It's great to see lots of the Bonn flags out, the green and the yellow. And
It was the fan club, I think, who came up with the idea and printed out all those flags and gave them to the visitors.
I love it. I think it looks great. And we would remind people there is another game tomorrow at the same time. This is, of course, the first in a 5-game series. The first 2 games are played here in Bonn, followed next weekend in Paderborn, and if necessary,
Games 3 to 5 are going to be played in Paderborn to necessity.
all right. And the weather today is about 19 degrees. There was a strong breeze blowing out to center. It was center left, but now it's died down a bit, blowing out slightly, but should be good. Get a ball up in the air. It might lift it a bit out of here. And as Elton John regales the audience with his music, let's talk, if we can, about at least the pitcher for Bonn today.
It's going to be Maurice Wilhelm. He has started game 1 of almost every playoff series so far for Bonn, and he's been really impressive, as he seems to be almost every year in the playoffs. Especially remarkable in game 3 against Heidenheim, where he went 8.1 innings through, I think it was around 140 pitches against a really, really strong offensive lineup. Kept them to just 3 runs and really propelled Bonn to victory. And of course, I mean, they didn't need it in this case, but it would have been great because he saved a lot of pitching. It was just him for 8.5 innings. So they would have had some more pitchers for a potential game 5. They didn't need it, of course. But it was a great pitching display of him, and he's shown that a lot in the playoffs in the past in recent years.
And I understand, of course, Bonn is now down a pitcher, of course, with Noah Lind is back in the United States
and
now.
Paul Schmitz is as well.
And Schmitz is as
and
well.
He was great in the playoffs. It was probably the best reliever so far in the playoffs for Bonn, so it's a really big loss for them.
That will happen when you have youngsters playing, and school, of course, takes priority in many of the cases, as is their decision, and rightfully so.
It's a great chance for both of them to be able to play in a college in the U.S.
So a presentation now on the field. And so it's a donation from the Sparkasse to the team, to the club, and so many thanks to them, of course. Looks like we have a strong contingent, perhaps, if I'm taking a guess, from Paderborn as well, sitting on the on the third base side of the field.
Yeah, it's a bit mixed over there. Some Bonn fans, some Paderborn fans as well.
Indeed, and I noticed a game. There was one happening earlier between the fast pitch team for the females. It was Bonn and Dortmund playing. So lots of action happening here baseball-wise in Bonn. And just on a personal note, as we wait for the rest of the announcements, I was not looking forward to coming in this morning, not because of the finals. Of course, I'm really happy to be here for the finals, but because my Blue Jays lost 12-0 last night to the Angels, who are dreadfully bad this year. Unfortunately, Tom and Max here in the booth are both huge Angels fans, and so I knew it wouldn't be an easy welcome today, and they sure made sure I remembered what that score was.
And rocking the Angels apparel, of course.
Rocking the Angels apparel, that's right. But I was humble, as I usually am. Didn't wear any Jays gear today. So,
I mean, it's painful enough to be an Angels fan at the moment, so you have to take all the small victories you can get.
Yeah, it hasn't been an easy season for them. Maybe you might want to think of looking at some of the Capitals players for your team. You got some good ones, and by God, the Angels look like they could use the help. Maybe not last night, but onwards.
So the donation is
€4,680 and €80 by Sparkasse to the team. So thank you very much to the bank for that donation. So as always in the finals, we have some opening things to take care of.
I don't think there was ever a finals game which started at the estimated time.
That's right. But it is nice to get back for a game. I was as surprised as anybody. I was on vacation and we went to Mexico City, where I was hoping to catch a baseball game, but didn't. Then we went to Canada, and throughout I was trying to follow the playoffs as they happened, and I was as surprised as anybody to see the Untouchables in the final. I was somewhat pleased, of course, because I knew it would be a good series. I know both teams very well. But still, I would have expected Heidenheim or Regensburg, as we would normally see. But as they say, anything can happen in baseball. Even at the major league level, we saw that with the Atlanta Braves last year as well.
It's great to see two North teams in the finals. Paderborn's got their own academy. They got a lot of great young players out of their own production, you might say. And it's really great to see them, how they have played all season long and now through the playoffs. And they haven't won a championship since 2005, won it 6 times up until then. And it's been a while for them, so we'll see how they can do.
So what's your best guess on why that happens? I mean, they're strong for so long, and then there's a bit of a drop-off. Is that a question of development, do you think, or is it something else, players just going elsewhere?
I think it was approximately around that time where they started to build up their academy and started to rely less on import players and more on their own players. And they have been a top 2 team in the North for the last couple of years, but it hasn't really paid off so far in the playoffs up until this year. But seems like it's working this year.
Yeah, it's good, of course, to really grow that talent from your home base. I mean, it's sustainable over the long term. More sustainable over the long term, I should say. As Paderborn is introduced, and now Bonn is. The Capitals are getting a big ovation from their fans as the flags go up and the flags are waved and the fans giving them a hand to come and take the field.
Even got some banners out there.
Love it. Nice to see. Great to see this baseball spirit here in Bonn. I haven't seen one of those checkered flags, the green and yellow. That's great. The cameras may not pick that up, of course, but there is. It looks like a checkered flag for the beginning of an F1 Formula Series.
And I think most of that was done by BC Unity, the fan club of the Bonn Capitals.
Hey, how do you get into the fan club here?
That's a good question, actually. I don't know.
Well, we'll try and dig up that information for you because, of course, I think there are some special perks that you get as a fan club member, and we'll try to find out some of the details. Of course, they'll be on the website, but we'll take a look. Just finishing introducing the players, and then we'll probably, I would assume, have the anthems, in which case we won't be speaking over that. See lots of kids out here. I see lots of parents. And of course, up here we have our 5 camera. No, we have 8 cameras, at least 8 different camera angles that we're bringing you. And throughout the year, they've been working very hard. The production crew up here to really make this the best viewing experience possible. And of course, we're thankful to them. I have no part of that. Nobody would let me touch a camera, and for good reasons. I wouldn't have a clue what I'm doing. But it's really a nice experience here in Bonn. And I can tell you from being, in other places, even throughout North America where baseball is it's being played for many, many years. Very, very special thing happening here in Bonn. Let's pause for a moment and listen to the intro.
Benno hat über Jahrzehnte das Scoreboard der Bundesliga bei Bundesligaspielen bedient. Er war ein bescheidener, zurückhaltender und sehr geschätzter Helfer, der auch häufig nach den Spielen immer wieder geholfen hat und mit aufgeräumt hat. Benno war ein großer Baseball-Fan. Er ist mit seinem Sohn Sascha auch zu den internationalen Turnieren gefahren, die die Capitals Bundesligamannschaft gespielt hat, und er hatte das große Glück, den größten Erfolg der Bundesligamannschaft, nämlich dem Finale im Champions League Cup letztes Jahr beiwohnen zu dürfen. Ich möchte Sie bitten, dass Sie sich erheben und mit mir zusammen einen kurzen Moment der Stille Bennos gedenken. Ich danke Ihnen vielmals.
So that was just a moment of silence for Benno Zil, a longtime scorer of the Bonn Capitals, who just suddenly passed away a few days ago. And now it's going to be the German national anthem.
All right, welcome back to the game after those opening introductions on the field and the moment of silence and, of course, the anthem. But it looks like we are ready now to play some baseball as the coaches shake hands. Let's go over that lineup one more time, as it's been a bit since we've introduced ourselves and really gotten into the game. I'll run through it really kind of quickly again for a second time. So Maurice Bendrian will be leading off for the Untouchables. He's the catcher. Björn Reinhardt is in center field. Llewellyn at second base. Finn Bergman is the cleanup hitter. He's at third. Nadir Latifi is at shortstop. Luca Ramelman is in right field. DH is Ladislaus Lenver. Linus Nixdorf is the first baseman, and that'll be rounded up by Ian Eberhardt in left field. So for the first three hitters, Tom, we've got Bendrian, Reinhardt, and Llewellyn. And we look at the averages of some of these players. Bendrian, of course, is hitting well. I think it's Bendrian and Bergman are the only two that are even hitting that 300 mark. And how do you explain this success they've had in the playoffs with such paltry batting averages, to put it mildly?
It's really been all about timing for them. They lost games by a huge margin where they saved some pitchers and where they knew they wouldn't have the greatest chances, especially against the great American Regensburg pitcher, Caleb Bowman. So they just really gave up those two games, and that, of course, is going to dip your average a bit. But then they managed to win 3 games, and that's really all there is about it.
Timing is everything, as we see Bonn defensively take the field, and defensively we've got Brank at shortstop. We've got Wilson Lee in right field. We've got Daniel Lamb Hunt on first base. None of these are surprise anybody who's followed the team. Schultz is at the DH. Sanchez at third. Ahrens is behind the plate. Langhorst is in center. Recchi in left. And Stummel is at second. Who do we have for the umpires today?
So it's going to be a 4-man crew. And we just see that in the finals in Germany. It's Jens Weider behind the plate. Tim Meyer is at first base. Alexander Hartl at second base. And Jason Lillebo at third base.
All right. Now for the fans watching at home and wherever you may be, welcome to the game. And I know that we have many parents watching the game as well of some of the players, so welcome to you as well.
So as we see starting pitcher Maurice Wilhelm take his final warm-up pitches, he of course is a 34-year-old sidearm pitcher and a 10-year Bundesliga veteran, spent all of those years with Bonn. He was a two-way player for his first couple of years, has now just been pitching. And he was the North MVP back in 2017. And as you can see, he's a bit of a sidearm pitcher, throws a two-seam fastball, a slider, and a changeup. And the key to having success against him is really that slider. It's an important part because sometimes he tends to leave it up a bit, and from the arm angle he's throwing it at, it can be a bit of a meatball, really.
It can be
solid to hit.
Yes.
So key to having success against him is really to crush that hanging slider.
Yeah, it's a tough pitch to hit for sure. I know I certainly couldn't hit it very well. But it is a unique delivery. I agree with you. It is sort of like a 3/4 delivery, I would say. Sidearm, yes. But if you look, just as he leads off with a strike, it's a bit more than 3/4, but it's a tricky one if you're a hitter to pick up. So, 0-1 count now as the game is finally underway here in Bonn. And Bendrian's at bat. Again, he's .323 hitter. And a pop-up into shallow center field. And the shortstop, Brank, goes over his shoulder and takes it. Nice catch out there. Usually you see the center fielder coming in to take that, but Brank was calling it all the way there. So, nice catch. And that'll bring up the second hitter, Reinhardt. What do we know about Reinhardt?
He missed the semifinals against Regensburg. He's still a very young player, so he was at the U18 European Championship in the Czech Republic. He played there for the German national team, but he's now back in the number 2 spot where he usually hits.
And a foul back.
And he's still struggling a bit so far in the playoffs.
172 or 122. I can't read my own writing.
It's
172. Yeah.
So just 5 hits and 29 at-bats and 11 strikeouts. So he'll look to turn that around a bit.
11 strikeouts in the playoffs. What's the total at-bats again?
29.
29. So if he's going to turn things around, that's the first thing he has to do is watch a few more pitches. That one comes in. I would say you should watch that one come in for a ball. 2-1 is the count. Reminder to the fans, you can always come and enjoy the fine food and some of the souvenirs they have as well. Maybe bring a euro or two. And there is a charge for the playoff games. It's not that much, but the games have been free throughout the year, and I think that makes sense. Free throughout the year. The playoffs are something a little extra special, a little more to organize. So there's a bit of a charge to come in. Swing and a miss. He strikes him out. So 2 down now as Reinhardt, as we were talking about, he has 11 strikeouts in the playoffs. We'll make that 12 now.
That was a really great slider by Wilhelm. His top strikeout pitch, if he gets it working in that spot with that break. And you could see Bjarne Reinhardt way out in front of that one. Way
out in front, that's right. And so Llewellyn is now, Fildrik Llewellyn is at the plate. He is the second baseman.
He played shortstop for the first 2 series of the playoffs with Nadir Latifi injured, but he is back now, so Llewellyn moves back to second base.
Right, I remember him earlier in the year playing second.
And even though he's been in that number 3 spot, he's been struggling a bit, just hitting 194 so far.
And that comes in for a strike. So Wilhelm coming in strong at the opening of the game. 1-2 the count.
He's been electric all throughout the playoffs, just an ERA of 1.66 and 21.2 innings pitched.
And a chopper down to Eddie Stummel at second base. Throws on to first, and that'll end the top of the first inning. 1-2-3. Wilhelm takes him down. We will move to the bottom of the first, and we'll be right back on Cap. Got the power to send a few other out of here as well, as we saw throughout the year, too.
2 stolen bases in the playoffs as well, and 9 runs scored, so that's really what you want to see out of your leadoff guy.
Now, that's an interesting point because Bendrian, I know, has a strong arm on him, so I'll be interested to see what happens if Bonn gets some players on base, if they'll run on Bendrian or not, because I remember him gunning a few down earlier in the season.
Oh, he's definitely a good defensive catcher and starting catcher for the German national team as well. So,
all right, we are ready and to go with Brank as Hintz looks in. That delivery's outside. Not a lot of velocity on that particular pitch. We'll see how he changes up his speeds.
He's got some good movement on everything he throws. It's not going to be any straight fastballs. It's always going to be a bit deceptive.
Yeah, there is some movement on that as that comes in for a strike. Wind is shifted now, a little more out to left field. That's nice, of course. Right-handed hitters send one up into the jet stream, and away she goes. Gotta watch you don't hit somebody and going by one of these concerts today as that goes foul. 1 and 2.
That might be a little far.
Yeah, and also the opposite direction. But you know if they're walking along the river. That's an ambitious hit.
Who knows?
Exactly. So, count 1 and 2. Nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning. And that comes in inside. In the top of the first, if you're just joining us late, Wilhelm is on the mound for Bonn. Took them down 1-2-3. So, already in the bottom of the first. Swing and a miss. Strikes out Brank to start the game. So both pitchers have come out strong. They throw that ball around the diamond, and that'll bring up Wilson Lee, who, as we were talking about in the intro, has had his own struggles at the plate. I think it's fair to say that.
It's something you tend to see with him once the playoffs come around every year. Sometimes seems like he's trying a bit too hard, hit the ball as far as possible on every swing, and
that can happen.
He's had the greatest average throughout most of the season on the team, but been struggling since the start of the playoffs.
Yeah, we saw with that swing there, he's really trying to make something happen. I think that is understandable, of course. But he also needs to do what got him here in the first place. That comes in for a ball, 1-1.
As you can see with Hintz, it's just been fastballs or sinkers so far.
Yeah.
It's worked against Eric Brank.
Wilson Lee certainly has the power at the plate, looking for a bit more patience as he swings and misses. And I noticed there when he is swinging, his head he's out in front, his head's turning before the ball comes in. So it's maybe a question of timing right now as well.
These hitters so far have been just swinging over the ball, not really expecting that sink on it.
Yeah. Hintz looks in, 1-2 count.
So Bendry now calling for a rare changeup.
And that one got away from him a little bit.
Doesn't throw that a lot.
No, you haven't seen that one yet. It's nice to have that arsenal of pitches. I mean, there's a reason they're starting the finals, because they're strong pitchers, of course. And it being the final, you see some of the best arms, of course, in the whole league.
Daniel Hintz has not had too much work, however, so far in the playoffs.
It's like two innings or so,
Two and 2/3.
Yeah.
Was used as an opener, as I mentioned, against Regensburg, but he has allowed 5 hits and an earned run. ERA of 3.38. We'll see how long he can go.
That's right. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He strikes out Wilson Lee. So Wilson Lee still looking for his timing at the plate as he mentioned something to Daniel M. Hunt, who is now coming to the plate. Maybe an indication of what series of pitches that he got, or something to watch out for, of course. Daniel M. Hunt, though, has had a stronger playoffs.
Definitely. He was hitting in the 5 spot all season, with Danny Sanchez being in the 3 spot, but he's been hitting so well. 3 home runs against Mainz in that series, and a total of, let me take a look, of 4 home runs and 10 RBIs in the playoffs, and it's pushed him up to the number 3 spot, as that was the first slider of Hintz we've seen all day.
Yeah, and Hintz is, of course, coming out. He's coming out strong, just as Wilhelm did in the last inning as well. So we've got some good pitching to start this game.
Of course, with Maurice Wilhelm, all these Paderborn hitters know him and know his stuff. It's maybe not the same with Hintz. He hasn't been throwing all that much the past years.
You can tell he's got them fooled the first couple of batters anyway.
Definitely.
He's got some movement on those pitches. Both Wilson Lee and Daniel Lamb Hunt there's been a few wild swings in there. Catcher sets up outside.
And that put away slider, and then they will have to consistently lay off to have any success. And of course, start timing up the fastball.
Absolutely. Intended to have him chase that one. No bite there from Lamb Hunt. 1-2 count, 2 out now, bottom of the first inning. No score here in Bonn. Swing and a miss, and there we go. 1, 2, and 3 down on strikes, and we, with no score, head to the top of the second inning here on Caps TV. Welcome back to the game, and where the Bonn Capitals and the Untouchables of Paderborn are deadlocked in the top of the second inning, 0-0. Both pitchers coming out very strong. Hintz striking out 1, 2, and 3 Bonn hitters. And at the plate right now, we have Finn Bergman.
He's been arguably the best hitter so far in the playoffs, hitting .300, but team leading 9 RBIs on 12 hits. 2 home runs to go with that as well.
So Wilhelm on the mound certainly wants to be careful here as he goes around halfway, and the umpire says he went around enough to make that a strike.
Also interesting about Bergman, even though he has that good average and good RBI totals, he's also struck out 17 times in just 40 at-bats.
High pop-up into shallow right field. Wilson Lee camps out under that, and he's got it, and there we go. That's the first out. Bergman down. That's a guy you want to get out if you are a Capitals fan. So that'll bring up Nadir Latifi, who we don't have a lot about.
It's his first appearance, his first start in the playoffs.
And that would be why.
Freshly coming off an injury. He seems to be ready to go just in time. Last time he was in Bonn, his appearance was cut short a bit. Ejected in, I think, the second or third inning of the first game.
Wanted to get an early shower. That came down. So Wilhelm came down a bit more on the sidearm for that one, and it was effective as it came in for a strike. That's a ball. 1-1 is count.
Those first pitch sliders can be effective, but can also be dangerous. And once hitters start looking for it, because when they come back over the inside part, they're right where you want to hit them.
Foul down the third base line, just into or just beyond the dugout for the Untouchables. It's interesting, this season compared to the last. Of course, Bonn played well last season. Didn't do so great in the playoffs, but I was just thinking, as of course, that there's a hit. But Brink had some trouble with that, where he bobbled it a bit and never did get up that throw to first base. Wisely held on to it, actually. Never know what can happen. So we've got a the Untouchables have their first runner, and that's Latifi at first base. I was just thinking as I was saying that, what a difference between the two seasons with respect to what the fans are experiencing. Of course, a lot of COVID we had the COVID situation last year, and now things are different. It's great to see this positive attitude and all the fans back. We don't have to deal with a lot of the masks and so on and so forth. So it's great for the fans as well to be here, I'm sure. Great for us. So runner at first base is Latifi, and Ramoman is at the plate for the Untouchables. And a big hit into center left field and to the fence, and he's got it at the fence. Very nice catch by Langhorst in center field.
Luca Ramerman, big power hitter, 7 RBIs, and he hit a big home run in Game 3 against Regensburg, which tied the game, and he fell just a couple feet short on that one.
Yeah, and if you are playing in center there, I used to play the position myself. You have to feel around for that fence at the back. You're not exactly sure what it is, and the wind is blowing slightly out, so it had a chance, but stopped just short. Lucky for Bonn. Foul back on Landwehr, who's at the plate. He's the DH today. Runner at first base remains Latifi. 2 out.
So I'm still looking what that hit by Latifi was scored, if it was scored a hit or an error.
Right. I think, at least my opinion, it would have to be an error.
Yeah, I would think so too, but it seems like the scorers have not made a decision yet, as you can't. At least the E-scoring hasn't scored it anyway so far. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's foul straight back there. I mean, look, I know he didn't throw on to first. It was probably smart, though. You want to eat that play just to make sure there's no wild throw to first. Potential runner on second base, then base hit gets them home. So, yes, I would say an error on the play, but also a bit of a smart play not to try and throw the runner out.
And just in that moment, I see it was scored as an error.
Yeah. Big pop-up. Is that going to get out of here? It looks like it goes foul.
Latifi had a great jump on that one.
Yeah. Latifi looks like he's raring to go. As the players reset. 0-2 now. As Landwehr finds himself in the hole. Game certainly has the smell of something being a competitive final game already off the top. Latifi not going. Fouled ball. Remains 0-2.
Paderborn, of course, coming off that emotional high of just beating the big favorites from Regensburg. So
there has to be something about that momentum that gives them a bit of an extra push today.
And with Bonn having an extra week of break as well, as they finished their semifinals 2 weeks ago. Maybe it takes a little for them.
That's
to
right.
Really get into the game, get competitive.
0-2 delivery. And again, it goes foul. Seems to be on those pitches, just a bit off. He's on, but a bit off. I know that makes a lot of sense.
One thing you'll see with Wilhelm, he's gonna throw strikes and look to get you out with them.
Yeah, and Bonn's a strong defensive team as well, so it isn't the worst thing in the world. Let the guys in the field do their part. As is the throw over, and Latifi, of course, isn't doing anything, but keeping him honest at first base. Wilhelm looks in. Latifi's going. And a hit into center field. And easily caught to end the inning. So, a bit of a threat. Doesn't pan out too much. We head to the bottom of the second inning. No score here in Bonn. We'll be right back on Caps TV. The score is 0-0 in the bottom of the second inning. Bonn coming to the plate in their for their part of the inning is Schultz, Sanchez, and Ahrens. Schultz, hot hitting Schultz.
been a great pickup his first year on the Capitals. He's been out for some part of the season with a knee injury, but he's back now, just DHing, and really hot hitting, over 400 in the regular season, now at 364. 538, I just learned he hit in the regular season, so really impressive numbers.
Yeah, he's definitely impressive.
Also leading the team in on-base percentage, draws a lot of walks as well.
As that pitch comes in outside, the count is 1-1. Just looks like a solid player too. He's got that look.
I watched him a couple of hours ago in batting practice, and he launched some baseballs.
Yeah. Ooh, that was looked like a tasty meatball coming in there as the comes down to first base, and Schultz is out on the bouncer, but it looked like he had that one lined up a bit better than it ultimately was. In any case, Schultz down with that ground out, and that will bring up Sanchez, who also is not doing too shabby at the plate in these playoffs.
Batting average up to 368, second highest on the team, 14 hits, 8 runs scored, and 6 RBIs.
14 hits, nice.
Also in his first year with the Capitals, came over from Solingen as they couldn't form a Bundesliga team this year.
That's a shame too. I mean, we're happy to have him, of course.
Yeah,
we'll
that is
take
a
more
great
players.
pickup.
We'll take more players like Sanchez for sure. But I mean, of course, it's always better to have more teams that are competitive in the league.
Sanchez, a really great defender as well.
Yes,
An all-around great player.
definitely. Nice to have that punch at the plate, him and Schultz in the lineup too. But you look at that top half of the Bonn lineup. I mean, really throughout, but it's such a strong lineup.
And it's strong all around, and it's not something you see too often in Germany. Most good teams will have a couple of good players in the 1 through 4 maybe. But having a really solid team all around like Bonn does is pretty rare.
Yeah, that's right. That bounced off a chair there, I think. So fans, if you're at the game, make sure you keep your heads up. You never know. I was at a major league game a couple of weeks ago, and they've got that netting right throughout the stands. And so, well, it takes away the foul balls for some. I guess it is a little safer. But boy, some of those fouls can come in awfully fast. So if you're at the game, yeah, make sure you keep your heads up and maybe off your phones a bit.
And in the majors, it was a result of some injuries.
Yeah.
From some fans and some kids as well. So
Tragic ones.
it's a really good safety option.
Absolutely. And of course, having a child, I have 2 kids myself, trying to keep their attention on the game at all times is very tough. As that ball comes in very close inside into Sanchez. So 3-2 count, full count, 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning, no score. Bonn has 1 error in the game. That was by Eric Brank at the shortstop. And he fists that sort of up into center and past the shortstop, who bobbles the ball as he points to himself and says, "That's on me." And indeed it was. It looks like he tried to make that play before he actually had the ball in his hand.
It would have been a really tough play anyway.
Yeah, he's charging in for that ball because he hit it. It seems like just a number.
That's what happens with some effective sinkers, righty-righty.
That's right. So that'll bring up number 5. That's Vinny Ahrens with Sanchez at first base.
And a view you're really not used to. Bonn catcher rocking the stirrups today.
Yes.
The high socks. Yeah.
Very nice. I like that classic style. Heck of a thing trying to keep those up, though. I remember playing with those. As that bounces in, and Bendrian took a look down to first base, but Sanchez was going nowhere on that. 1-0 count.
That last play scored an error, though, as well. So
Yeah, I see that.
both teams still looking for the first hit of the game.
Yes, indeed. Officially no hits. 2 errors, no hits. Sanchez not going. Chopper just past the first baseman into right field. Right fielder picks it up and Sanchez is headed to third. The throw comes in. He slides under it and he's safe.
And he got really lucky that throw was offline because it beat him by a couple of steps, but just pulled Bergman off the base. He couldn't slap the tag on Sanchez.
That's Remmelman out there in right field, and you're right. That throw did come in awfully fast, and if it was on the mark, then it would have gotten him. I agree with you. So 1 out, runners at the corners now. Sanchez and Aarons, and that'll bring up Denny Lankhorst.
I guess what better time to be aggressive on the bases than the finals.
Timed perfectly. So big chance for Bonn here in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
We'll see if Danny Lankhorst can turn it around. Batting average just at 188 in the playoffs.
Right. He's of course your number 7 hitter today. Aaron's lead not too big at first base.
I'd be surprised if he went.
And a hit into center field. Center fielder looks like he's going to get there. Tagging. Oh, and he drops the ball. He overplays it. As Sanchez comes in to score. Aaron's trying for third. The throw, the tag, he's out at third base. So, lots happening on that play. At first base, right now, we've got Danny Lankhorst, who would look like a routine fly into center field and appeared like he tried to take that ball out of his glove to throw it, but the ball wasn't in the glove.
Bjarne Reinhardt, I mentioned it before, just 18 years young, maybe a little bit of nerves in his first finals.
It might be a good guess there, yeah, I agree. He had that play in his mind made before he actually had the ball.
But he got a little bit of redemption on that outfield assist.
Indeed, it was a nice throw. All right, so that brings up to the plate Justice Recchi. He is in left field today for Bonn.
Struggling at the plate, hitting 143. But he's got 5 walks and an OBP of 409.
As that's a fair ball down the third base line. Coming around is Lankhorst to third base. And he's coming all the way around to score. Now as the throw comes in. And Bonn leads 2-0 now with that double by Justice Recchi.
Perfectly placed hit, just inside the third base bag. No chance for Finn Bergman to make a play on that one.
Well, and he comes all the way around to score on that play, Lankhorst does. So that'll bring up number 9 hitter, Eddie Stummel.
And the sloppy defense really coming around to hurt Paderborn this inning.
Indeed.
Both of the runs that scored reached base on errors.
That's right, and they will always come. They always say that it's going to come and bite you later, and it certainly is the case here today. There are 2 out, but still with the runner at second base, Recchi, Bonn still has a chance to cash in some more. So that's what Stummel's at the plate to do.
He's been thriving in the 9-hole all season long.
Of course, the fans love him here as well. And that's strike.
Had a bit of a down year last year, so it's really nice to see him back at his old strength.
Yeah. So Paderborn, 2 errors now in the game. The 2-0 score in the bottom of the 2nd. Lots of 2s on the board. And a big chopper, but foul. Max Schmidt makes the play down there on the third base foul line. Looks like he wants to get in the game. As he was saying, Bonn is confident but cautious. Before the game, Coach Schmitz was saying that.
And this inning, they're seeing Hinz a lot better. Putting the ball in play, and only good things can happen when you get the ball in play.
Yeah, that's outside. 1 and 2. Second base is Recchi. He had that beautiful double. Score the 2nd run. Fans on their feet here. Again, outside, same location, maybe a little closer to the plate on that one.
Had some good break on it, good slider. Eddie Stummel tempted a bit, but not all too much.
No, he's got a lot of experience. He's not going to chase those necessarily, not at this point in the season, I would imagine.
See if he'll go back to the sinker.
He fooled him on that one, though. 2-2. Count.
Just get a piece of that.
Just a smidgen. The ball boy, the young ball boy for the Capitals, scrambles out to get that, and we're ready to play again. So, bottom of the second, 2-0 is the score. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. The pitch to shortstop. He's got it this time. Throws on to first base, and that'll end the inning, but not before Bonn scores 2 runs on 2 errors by the Untouchables. We will be back for the top of the third and Tom's call right after this.
Deine Hut. Kein Vielleicht, kein Morgen, kein Gestern.
Das Talent und das Potenzial ist da.
Versuch es, wie du es noch nie versucht hast.
Hoffe ich doch, dass wir am Schluss dann in Berlin dabei sind.
Spiel für deine Geschichte und die Hut.
Die FIBA Eurobasket 2022. Live bei Magenta TV und Magenta Sport.
It hasn't been such a long time since people first started shopping online, and it was easy to keep up with the clicks. Little by little by little by more, the clicks added up to be more than the stores, and e-tailers worked harder than ever before, because they had to keep up with the clicks. All of a sudden, there are so many must-dos if you want to keep selling, like delivery there, no there, or there.
And make it tomorrow, first thing.
No time for borders. Gotta stay in control to stay in the flow and continue to grow.
So we're back for the top of the third, and it's going to be 8-9-1 in the Paderborn batting order. Starting off with first baseman Linus Nixdorf. He was also injured in Regensburg, couldn't play. He's back now.
143 average on the season for Nixdorf. No runs, 1 hit.
And that one's chopped up the middle. That's going to be a tough play, and it gets into center field just by the outstretched glove of Eddie Stommel.
Just after I say no hits, there's the hit.
There's the
I
first
jinxed
one.
us.
Professionally jinxed that one.
Oh.
Not the hardest of contact, but found the hole up the middle. No waiting around for him. Took the first pitch to center. So he's going to be on first base to start off this inning. It's going to be Ian Eberhardt next, the left fielder for Paderborn.
Yeah, he's got an average of 167. Not very high, like most of the players in the order, bottom half.
Squares around to bunt, but pulls back. Pitch is in for a strike. Good first pitch by Wilhelm.
So he strikes out every third time he's at the plate. He's got 10 strikeouts and 30 at-bats.
Also likes to bunt, as he's showing here.
Not
That
very
one.
good at delivering the bunt, though, I see.
Bit of a chase maybe on that pitch. Out of the zone. Down in the hole, 0-2. Probably won't see him bunting again.
Well, now we had this discussion throughout the year, Tom. I see a lot of bunting on 2 strikes pitches. I don't understand it.
But I don't think we'll see it in
Not
the
here,
finals.
no.
As that one's lifted into shallow center field, but Eric Brank, full sprinting to his left, is able to just barely make the catch on that. Almost found the hole again.
He's been all over the diamond today, hasn't he?
He's been great.
Yeah, he's got
Defensively, he's really improved this season.
indeed.
Had that one error in the second inning. So we're back to the top of the lineup. The runner remains at first base, and it's going to be catcher Maurice Bendrin.
Flew out to Brank. I recall that at bat in the first inning. It was shallow center field, but he got it there.
So check swing, foul ball down the left side. Of course, always a bit unusual to see a catcher leading off, but I guess with his batting average, leading the team, makes sense.
It's a good point. You don't often see the catcher leading off. That's right. they're not often the speediest guys on the team either that sometimes you want in that leadoff spot.
And he's also, Vendrine, not a huge stolen base threat.
No. He's got a 323 average.
There's that one. Just inside, no look pick off. Move Vinny Arens really likes to do. The runner's on first.
That's right. I remember that from earlier in the season as well. And
he's gotten a couple of runners with that, but
yeah,
couldn't catch Nick Stoff napping at first.
It's always a great play to see that.
No, definitely. He's perfected it, really. The throws are almost always on the line. That's the next pitch. Hit sharply to second base. Eddie Stoll makes the catch, throw over to first. Hits the runner, I think. That would have been a close play at first if Eddie Stommel would have been able to make that precise throw to first base.
I agree. Nixdorf kind of just ambled back to first base. A sharper throw onto first might have made that a little closer than it was.
Of course, you say freeze on line drives, but that one looked like it was going to be caught pretty early on.
Yeah.
But Nixdorf stayed out there off first base. Just barely got back. The loud out number 2. Really solid hit by Vendrine. No luck for him. It's gonna bring up Jarno Reinhardt for the second time. 2 down already in the inning.
Yeah, 172 average on this in these playoffs. I think that in 29 at bats, he's only got 5 hits. Struck out 11 times, as we were mentioning before.
He's now behind 0-1. A great first pitch fastball by Wilhelm that just caught the outside corner. That one back to Wilhelm. Bobbles it a bit, but is going to be able to make the throw to first base to retire the side. So comebacker right at him. Was just able to make the play. 3 down in the top of the third. No runs for Paderborn as the score is still 2-0 in favor of Bonn as we head into the bottom of the third.
But we'll help you. Keep up with the clicks.
Das ist Mia. Mia hat zu Hause einen richtig schönen Designboden, der aber auch leider oberflächige Schäden und tiefe Kratzer aufweist. Dr. Schütz hat dafür die Lösung mit Produkten für die Reinigung und Pflege, wie das Designboden-Pflegeset und um tiefe Kratzer zu beseitigen, das Scratch Fix Repair Set. Und damit Mia genau weiß, wie man ihre Böden zu Hause perfekt pflegt und schützt, gibt es unsere Tutorials auf dem Dr. Schütz YouTube-Channel. Für Mia und euch alle. Damit muss sich Mia nicht mehr um ihre Böden sorgen, sondern kann ganz beruhigt unsere Caps anfeuern. Go Caps!
Bottom of the third, top of the order. Coming to the plate for Bonn. Starting off with Eric Brink, the shortstop.
Yeah, 366 in the playoffs. All over the field today. He does have an error, but looking strong defensively still.
So we see some action now going down in the Paderborn bullpen. It's already now the longest appearance of the playoffs for Daniel Hinz. He usually just functions as an opener for usually Florian Seidel.
Is that your guess? Is that who is in the pen?
I can't.
Seidel? We'll find out. We'll find out. Yeah.
But I would expect that's been their move all playoffs long, and I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Hinz being a veteran, 36-year-old, and Seidel being a bit on the younger side.
Some movement on that pitch. It looks like, and probably the coach would agree, Bonn seems, at least in the last inning, to have figured out this delivery and the series of pitches coming their way.
1-1 pitch inside. Brink able to lay that off. He struck out on 6 straight fastballs in the first. So we'll see if he can adapt, get the bat to the ball.
Yeah, he's got 15 hits in these playoffs, Brink does. On base percentage of .366.
That one just outside. That sinker, of course, has a lot of movement and tends to come back to the outside part of the plate. That one was just outside.
Yeah, the Capitals management here they have to be happy with the turnout that we're seeing. Stands look pretty full.
That one catching the zone. Count goes full. Eric Brank being patient out there.
That's the thing. You have a seasoned pro like Brank and many on in the Bonn lineup. They've got that patience at the plate, with the exception perhaps of Wilson Lee right now.
As that's a broken bat. Ground ball to the shortstop, who makes the long throw over, and it goes past the first baseman. Eric Brank rounds and easily takes second. So another error, the third one already for Paderborn, as that one may be an infield single plus an error, with the way that Eric Brank was hustling down the line, able to take second on the errant throw.
That has to be an error on that throw. That's Latifi. That would be a second error of the game, I'm guessing.
Yeah, now the confirmation that it is, in fact, Florian Seidel out there in the bullpen, the lefty.
Yeah, so the shortstop is Latifi, and again, he hasn't played a lot this year, so struggles out there defensively right now. He had a beat on that ball. It looks like he would have had him at first base. Yes, Brank was putting on the Jets, but the throw was just errant.
It was a bit of a weird grounder, and with the broken bat, the ball slowed down a lot, so he had to get rid of the ball quickly. Couldn't make the throw. Now big swing by Wilson Lee once again.
Yeah, we're seeing that.
Some damage.
We're seeing those wild swings.
He's not been able to figure out the sinker just yet. Keeps swinging over that. So, of course, the battery going straight back to the same pitch and getting the same result. Quick 0-2 count.
Yeah, they know what they know he's struggling at the plate right now, that average of 222. And again, I see that head out front turning. He's just not on the ball right now. I mean, this can change in a heartbeat, of course, but just for now, that's the case. And another swing.
3 pitches and he's retired. 3 straight inside sinkers. Couldn't figure it out. He's retired from the second time.
You know, Wilson Lee might. There's some meditation tapes that might help him out. He just seems a little anxious at the plate right now.
It's something you see oftentimes with him once the playoffs roll around. Him just trying to do too much because everyone knows he can do a lot. He can hit the ball a long way. He can hit for a great average. But just sometimes seems like he's trying a little too hard out there.
Yeah, and baseball, of course, is a game of such preciseness. A little
slider is taken into right field, and it's going to drop in between the right fielder and the center fielder for a base hit. As on the throw, Daniel Lampant takes second base. So smart base running there.
That was very smart, and it's a smart move to keep Brank at third base because that throw was right on the money.
And Eric Brank had to hold as he was not quite sure if that ball was going to be caught.
Yeah.
So he was clearly holding, so a bit of a mistake out there in the outfield of not hitting the cutoff man, but throwing it straight home, allowing Daniel Lampant to, first of all, get rid of the double play opportunity, and second of all, get into scoring position himself. So great defensive threat once again for the Capitals. Runners on second and third with only 1 down, and John Schultz, arguably the best hitter in this lineup, coming up to the plate.
Yeah, he went to just tap one back to the pitcher the last time he was up.
But they know about his offensive strength.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They're going to intentionally walk him. Base is loaded for Danny Sanchez. He's great with runners in scoring position, really clutch.
And if
likes to take the ball to the opposite field. Nice line drive hitter.
And if you're Danny Sanchez, very good hitter, by the way, to be intentionally walked to, boy, you have to think that'll give him some added motivation.
We'll see how much longer Daniel Hintz is going to go. He's taking long breaks now, looking over towards the dugout, towards the bullpen. And now, before he can throw, we're going to see a mound visit. think that's head coach Jendrik Speer. Seeing that, right?
Yeah.
To see if there's going to be an immediate change, but it certainly did seem like
He's not
they were
moving. He's not
trying-
moving so fast.
They're definitely looking to give Florian Seidel out there some time in the bullpen to get ready.
I'm not sure if you could get out there any slower, unless you walk on your hands, perhaps. Yeah, they're on to hints now. It would seem the logical thing to do would be to go to the pen in this bases loaded situation with Sanchez already having faced him and hitting a single.
Hints not making any move towards the dugout to leave the field, so we might just see the mound visit conclude and then maybe a pickup throw and a change is what I could imagine happening.
Yeah, he might go home, water the plants yet, come back. The umpire goes to find out what's going on. They're going to leave him in.
Yeah, there are, but I don't think too much longer. It would
No.
really surprise me to see him throw another pitch. So
I'm surprised.
just one pickoff would be enough to give them another mound visit and a pitching change and see what they do.
I am not sure I would have made the same choice. I'm not the coach of obviously, but to leave him in against Sanchez, I'm not sure is the smartest thing to do in this
Sanchez is
situation.
really good against lefties, so
Yeah,
when they plan on bringing in a lefty, it might be better not to Denny Sanchez.
good point.
As he fouls that sinker off. Just get a piece of it. It's behind in the cone 0-1.
We remind you that Sanchez got an average of 368. 14 hits, 8 runs, and 38 at-bats.
Usually he doesn't hit the ball all too far, but he finds the gaps,
Yeah,
hits some good line drives and gets some ground. As that one's grounded to the shortstop, makes the play, steps on second, over to first for the easy double play. Pitcher's best friend retires to the side.
Yeah.
So we thought about how they might change their pitcher. Next thing you know, double play gets him out of the inning without any damage. The score remains.
The headline here is "Don't listen to me."
Oh, definitely. Never listen to us up here. We'll be right back with the top of the fourth. Still against Maurice Wilhelm.
Yeah, he grounded out to the second to Stummel in the first inning.
Good changeup by Wilhelm. On the first pitch, catches the outside corner. Gets him called strike one. As that one's driven into medium deep right field. Wilson Lee coming in, making the play without much problem. So that looked a bit better than it was off the bat.
He almost seemed like he was too much in front of that. If he would have had just a bit more timing on that, that ball I think would have been smacked pretty good, but he didn't get all of that.
That was a fastball in a pretty central location. Just missed it. He was retired on just 2 pitches. So Finn Bergman's going to step in next, the Paderborn third baseman, for his second at-bat of the day.
He also flew out to right field in his last at-bat. He's a 300 hitter.
It's a high and deep fly ball, but that's going to go foul.
I am hoping he doesn't hit the ambulance that is...
And got a lot of air under that one.
There's an ambulance just out here. I haven't seen any emergencies. They might just be here for a precaution, but that would be something.
1-1 pitch by Wilhelm.
Oh, did that get him?
That got him in the elbow pad. Fastball got away from Wilhelm a bit. Paderborn's going to have a 1-out base runner. Finn Bergman seems to be all right.
Yeah.
Good thing he had that padding there, because without it in the elbow, it's not a pleasant experience.
Yeah, it's brutal.
So Nadir Latifi is going to get his second at-bat.
Yeah, we saw Latifi when, yes, we've talked about the errors he's made today. Again, we also need to mention he doesn't have a lot of playing time this season, but he did end that last inning with that double play, which was very well done.
It was really important to get it off in time to hold the Bonn offense from scoring any more runs.
That's right, bases loaded situation. He really he caused a bit of the jam, but he also got them out of the jam. So balances sheet might be close to even now.
And he also, to round it out, reached on an error in his first at bat. We'll see what he can do here. Down 0-1 in the count. As that sliders outside, back pick to first base. Daniel Lemp unable to make the catch.
They're on to Aaron's. They know they know now he's going to throw that ball down to first sometimes, and he seems to always be pretty close to on the money. I think that was more of Lamb Hunt down at first on that throw.
Of course, he's not a learned first baseman. He used to play a lot of third base his first years.
Yeah.
He's now moved over there. Count is 1-1 to Latifi. Paderborn's looking to get something going, get themselves on the scoreboard. Of course, the first game of a series like this is always important. You want to get going as soon as possible.
Well, yeah, you want to win in front of your home fans as well. Take that momentum away from Paderborn a little bit if you can, if you're the Capitals.
Count is 1-2 as gets set. Runner goes, and that pitch is low. No throw on that one. Finn Bergman steals second base, so in scoring position after getting hit by that pitch, and he got a great jump.
He did.
Stole second without a throw, Barnes. Pitch also missed low, so Latifi is gonna get another chance.
Latifi's been at the heart of a lot of plays today.
2-2 pitch taken into right field, and that's a line drive base hit. Bergman rounding third, but he's going to stop right there. So some offense brewing for Paderborn in the fourth inning. Hit by pitch, a stolen base, and a base hit. Means runners are now on the corners with just one down. And Luca Rommelmann up to the plate.
Yeah, Rommelmann's hitting .229 on the season, 11 strikeouts that we have mentioned. He has 8 hits in 35 at-bats.
He's definitely got some power in his bat as well. So Bonn defense, of course, looking for the double play. Get him out of the inning.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. As you were saying in the first inning, he has the potential to send that out.
That's the first pitch. Over to third, Danny Sanchez. Over to second, and to first base for the double play.
Nicely
what a
done.
turn by Bonn defense. Around the horn, 5-4-3. The double play, and it gets him out of the inning without any damage. The 0 remains on the scoreboard for Paderborn as we head into the bottom of the fourth. Score unchanged, 0-2.
Da gibt es den ersten Wechsel im Spiel. Der Starter der Jungs, Daniel Hinz, nicht auf dem Markt. Neu im Spiel jetzt Mittag Nummer 11. Florian Seidel.
Start at the bottom of the fourth, we see the pitching change we anticipated last inning. It's going to be Florian Seidel who takes over for Daniel Hinz, who in a bit of an unlucky situation is scheduled for the loss right now without giving up an earned run, because they both scored on errors. They're down 0-2. And Florian Seidel, 23-year-old left-hander, who made his Bundesliga debut at just 17 years of age. Throws a fastball, slider, changeup, and curveball from a low three-quarter slot. And the biggest key to success against him is work hitters counts. once you get into those good counts of 2-0, 3-0, 3-1, you can almost guarantee you're going to get a good fastball somewhere in the heart of the zone. You're going to be able to make some good damage on that because he doesn't have the quickest fastball out of his arm slot. So it's definitely hittable if you time it up right. We'll see how the Bonn offense can handle him.
Yeah, you got Ahrens and Langhorst and Recchi coming up. And Stummel if we get to him.
Ahrens in the rare occasion facing a lefty. Doesn't happen too often in the Bundesliga, but as a switch hitter, he's of course going to hit right-handed. His natural side. As that first pitch fastball finds the outside corner for strike one. Seidel, the usual game one starter for Paderborn in the regular season, but now in the playoffs, used out of the bullpen for games for the first and third game of each series.
Yeah, so Bonn has 2 runs on 3 hits today with 1 error, and Paderborn, no runs, 2 hits.
That one's grounded to the shortstop, and Latifi cannot make the sliding play.
Oof,
Upset with him about that one, with himself.
Yeah, he's having a heck of a game out there defensively.
It was a hard hit ball.
Yeah.
Definitely. Solid hit for Vinny Ahrens, as that was his second hit of the night, of the day. Not really night just yet.
Not yet. Getting there.
But a hit from both sides of the plate for him. You don't see that every day. It's going to bring up Daniel Langhorst.
I would imagine that'll be another error.
That was hard hit, and he also made a sliding attempt.
You're nicer than I am. I say it's a
I
clear
am.
error. It's
I don't
the
have
finals.
any scoring education as well. So, and there's a bunt with Ahrens going. The sacrifice bunt executed to perfection as they just get Langhorst by half a step. Speedy runner, but a great bunt nonetheless. Bunt and run. I think if that's a term.
Kids, if you're watching, that's how you do a bunt.
That's how you play small ball. Just like that, we got a runner in scoring position again for Bonn. Great confidence in Bonn's head coach Mike Schmitz as well to send Ahrens there. Not the quickest runner.
Yep.
But he was confident that Langhorst was going to get the bunt down, and he executed it to perfection. Ahrens at second.
So Recchi is up now, and he had that double that we saw back in the second inning.
Got an RBI with it as well, as he pulled the ball down the left field side. And now with the lefty on the mound, 1 switch hitter and 7 natural righties. Of course, most of these guys will have a slight advantage hitting from the right side. Let's see how they can do.
Yeah, they're not holding Ahrens too close to second base out there. Probably not too much of a threat, perhaps.
Check swing by Recchi on that high fastball.
Wearing lucky number 13. Yeah, so Recchi 1 for 1 today. We were mentioning that RBI. He'll be followed by Stummel and Brank. Get to them. 1 out.
1-1 pitch is hit to the left side, but the third baseman Bergman makes the play, looks the runner back to second and makes the throw to retire Recchi. So a good play of holding Ahrens at second, not letting him advance 90 feet.
Smooth defensively out there.
And a huge second out for Seidel, who wants to keep the deficit right where it is at 2 runs. Now it'll take most likely a base hit to score that run. And it's going to be Eddie Stummel.
Yeah, Eddie Stummel is at the plate, and he's got a 248 average. He grounded out to the shortstop in his last at bat.
Of course, none of the Bonn hitters having the luxury of facing the same pitcher multiple times. Have to adapt to the new arm.
Yeah, likely part of the strategy, of course, with by the Untouchables.
We'll see how long Seidel can go. Will most likely be followed by Matt Kemp if we should get to him. As that one just outside.
He's trying to lure him in with that one.
Like he took a little off of that. Missed the zone. Count is back to even at 1-1. Sean was really great at working those counts, not being over aggressive having patient at bats, getting on base, and another good take on
That's
a
where
breaking ball.
the experience comes in right there. He's got that patience at the plate, as you were saying.
Of course, not the tallest hitter as well, so making it a bit harder.
It's always what they said about me, too. Not the tallest nor the more talented, most talented.
2-1 pitch is hit on the ground to the shortstop. Makes the throw over to first base, and a good stretch by Nixdorf at first. Just gets the runner by half a step to retire the side. No runs in the fourth for the Capitals as we head into the top of the fifth.
Deine Hut. Kein Vielleicht, kein Morgen, kein Gestern.
Das Talent und das Potenzial ist da.
Versuch es, wie du es noch nie versucht hast.
Hoffe ich doch, dass wir am Schluss dann in Berlin dabei sind.
Spiel für deine Geschichte und die Hut.
Die FIBA Eurobasket 2022. Live bei Magenta TV und Magenta Sport.
Welcome back to the game. 2-0 is the score, top of the fifth inning. And at bat for the Untouchables, Landswehr, he'll be followed by Nixdorf and Eberhardt, and then that'll flip the order over if they get to Bendrian. So Wilhelm's still on the mound.
We'll see how long he'll go. Of course, only 2 games will be played this weekend, so Bonn will most likely use most of their pitchers. Will not be scared to change Wilhelm for Koch.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need to ride the horse to the end of the game. Who'd that go off of, the catcher or the umpire?
Looked
Probably
like
the
the
catcher.
catcher.
Yeah. Aaron's might have a slight headache after the game. But he's
Be good.
Yeah, he's done this for a number of years. Comes with the territory. It's part of the resume. Landswehr flew out to the center fielder, Lankhorst, in the last time he was at bat in the second.
That's a great slider by Wilhelm, right where he wants it to be. That's the outside corner. That's almost unhittable.
And a high pop-up now. And Lame Hunt comes in, and he's got it. 1 down, just like that, as he flips the ball onto Stummel. And around the horn they go. So 1 down. And that'll bring up Nixdorf.
Wilhelm's been looking great out there. The first 4 1/3. Just gave up 2 hits, no runs, of course. Just got in a little bit of trouble once the last inning.
That's right. That's fouled away. Other than that, though, it's been pretty straightforward for Wilhelm.
And it's impressive to see every year on. It's like he's solid in the regular season where he's used as a reliever. He's not the best pitcher on the team, but every year, once the playoffs come around, he gets
slots
onto
in.
another level.
Yeah, he slots in there and he comes through. Well, especially, with the loss of Lind as well.
Yeah, Lind started a lot of the regular season games.
Indeed, and he pitched very well. And he doesn't go around, says the umpire. So counts 1-2, 1 out, 2-0 the score here in the top of the 5th inning. Wind has shifted a bit now, blowing more out to center right. It's clipping along pretty good. There was talk of rain today, but it looks like nothing's happening. And pop up now into right field. Wilson Lee, he has that one. 2 down. Dependable Wilson Lee out there in right field. We're going to send him those meditation tapes. We tried to do that in the last half inning. Do some mantras. No.
Yeah, I think he'll do better probably against the lefty.
Yeah, a couple at-bats in, and
he'll find his groove eventually.
Indeed. It only takes one at-bat to turn things around usually. Grounder now out to Brankett. Shortstop on to first base, but the throw is high. It gets by Lamb Hunt. Throw down to second, and he is safe. Oof. Routine ground ball there to Brank. So the shortstop position today has had its challenges, as both Latifi and Brank have made their, I think, 2 errors each, if I'm not mistaken. Or at least what we have judged as errors. And that will bring up Eberhardt.
No, that was Eberhardt.
That was Eberhardt. Sorry, I'm behind in the order here. And he finds himself now on second base. And that'll bring up Bendrian. So you flip the order over to the hottest hitting person on the team, Bendrian, who is 0 for 2 today. Grounded out to the second baseman and flew out to the shortstop in the first.
But it's really not what you want to see in the finals.
No.
I mean, those routine plays just have to be made.
Indeed. And again, we say that about both shortstops today. And the pitch comes in outside. 2-0 is the count. 2 out, 2-0 the score, top of the 5th inning.
Of course, there's a base open over there at first, and might want to face Brianna Reinhardt rather than Bendrine.
You know what? You have a point. It would be a good option in this case. I mean, you basically go from a 323 hitter down to a 172 average hitter. But Bendrian they've gotten him twice. Maybe they're confident Wilhelm can get him one more time. And the umpire says that was a strike, 3-1. He was watching the whole way. Wasn't even thinking, probably swinging at that. But Wilhelm comes through. Big lead. Nobody covering Eberhard down there on second.
And he's a speedy runner out there, so he'll most likely score on a single.
There we go. Bendrian hits it into right field. Around comes Eberhard. The throw comes home, and he's got him. Gets him at home plate. Beautiful play, and that'll end the inning, and the Untouchables are kept off the scoreboard. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. 2-0 is the score. We'll be right back on Caps TV.
It hasn't been such a long time since people first started shopping online, and it was easy to keep up with the clicks. Little by little by little by more, the clicks added up to be more than the stores, and e-tailers worked harder than ever before, because they had to keep up with the clicks. All of a sudden, there are so many must-dos if you want to keep selling, like delivery there, no there, or there.
And make it tomorrow, first thing.
No time for borders. Gotta stay in control to stay in the flow and continue to grow. But we'll help you. Keep up with the clicks.
Das ist Mia. Mia hat zu Hause einen richtig schönen Designboden, der aber auch leider oberflächige Schäden und tiefe Kratzer aufweist. Dr. Schütz hat dafür die Lösung mit Produkten für die Reinigung und Pflege, wie das Designboden-Pflegeset und um tiefe Kratzer zu beseitigen, das Scratch Fix Repair Set. Und damit Mia genau weiß, wie man ihre Böden zu Hause perfekt pflegt und schützt, gibt es unsere Tutorials auf dem Dr. Schütz YouTube-Channel. Für Mia und euch alle. Damit muss sich Mia nicht mehr um ihre Böden sorgen, sondern kann ganz beruhigt unsere Caps anfeuern. Go Caps!
In that last half inning, except for that play at home, that beautiful throw by Wilson Lee into home to get the runner Eberhardt. In this inning, we have Brink, Wilson Lee, and Daniel Lamb Hunt. We saw Wilhelm leave the field. We're assuming that he'll be replaced in the next inning. And he threw, I believe it was 51 pitches.
It was really impressive. 5 innings, 51 pitches.
Indeed.
Really effective.
So, high pop-up by Brink, and it looks, wow, both the shortstop and the left fielder go out, and it's the shortstop, Latifi, who grabs it. He's all over the field today and throws it in.
And
So
just to
that's one
finish
down.
that point. I think he definitely has some more pitches in him, Wilhelm, that is. But I am pretty certain they're not going to want to risk anything here and just go to their best pitchers whenever they feel like it's time. And Paderborn came close to scoring the past 2 innings, so they might want to make a change pretty soon.
Yeah, that's right. They were sniffing around, and they almost got that run across the plate, but not happening on my watch, said Wilson Lee and Vinny Aarons. And that comes in for a strike. 0-1 is now the count on Wilson Lee. Nice to see him watch a pitch come through.
Even though that looked like a pretty good pitch to hit.
Yeah. It's good. I like to see the patience. See, those meditation tapes really
definitely.
helped. And a big swing and a miss there. 0-2.
That was a
Oh,
good
sorry,
pitch.
1-2. Yeah.
Caught him out of his stride once again.
Yeah, so it's still Seidel on the mound. He's throwing 15 pitches today. Just a little recap. So Paderborn has no runs on 3 hits with 3 errors today. I think Latifi has 2 of those. The shortstop, Bonn, 2 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors. And Wilson Lee strikes out for the 3rd time today. So 2 down, and that'll bring up Daniel Lamb Hunt. Wilson Lee continue. Oh, sorry.
Impressive strike 3 call, if I may say, by Jens Weider behind the plate. Heard that loud and clear up here in the booth.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so Wilson Lee's struggles do continue.
Got a little too patient, that I bet.
Yeah. So 2 out, 2-0 the score for the Capitals, bottom of the 5th. What's the issue?
There's a ball on the field,
ball
I
on the
think.
field, yeah. Warming up down in the bullpen. I think that was Sasha Koch in the bullpen. So we'll likely see him, unless Daniel Lamb Hunt makes something happen and continues the train rolling. Seidel delivers, and that's a ball. So Seidel has pitched an inning and a bit. 1 strikeout, and that's on Wilson Lee. 18 pitches. Big swing and a miss there.
And a great changeup.
Mm-hmm.
He's been using that effectively. That's one of his stronger weapons. That arm slot he throws out of, it seems to be really deceptive and really tough to see for hitters.
He hit 250 in the season against lefties. Daniel Lamb Hunt did this year. In the playoffs, not really any average there. It's the first time he's faced. No, wait, he has 1 at bat. Shakes off the catcher. Seidel does. He's ready. And that pitch is inside. 2-2 the count. All 2s in the board.
Those pitches look really good, at least from up here. Sharp break on his breaking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Been effective.
And that's fouled back. Yeah, after hints, he's managed to get on top of these Bonn batters a bit more. Yeah, some of those pitches coming in have been close. Lots of action here. Again, don't forget there's a game tomorrow at 2 o'clock as well. Game 2. Peel down to first. Umpire says, nah, he's fine. 3-2. Full count now on Daniel Lamb Hunt, 2 out. If Lamb Hunt can make something happen, that'll bring up Schultz.
Who, unlike many other lefty batters, really strives lefty, so really hits it pretty solidly.
And another foul back. Watch out, kids. Can hear the music from that concert happening not too far from us in the Rheinau. Lots of action today, all over Bonn. It's the place to be.
If you like carnival music, then that's your place to be over there.
Coincidentally, I'm not going to pass judgment. Chopper down to third base. Stays fair. Throw on to first base. Will it be in time? No, says the umpire. Daniel Lamb Hunt legs it out. There's a close play at first base, but he makes it. This is a nice play on third base as well to get that ball and off to first base in a hurry, but yeah.
Really nothing Finn Bergman could do there.
No.
Just was hit too slowly and too high, so couldn't charge in on that.
Yeah, so John Schultz at the plate. He's 0 for 1 today. He walked. He's the DH.
Not the most offense in the game. Only the 2 runs, of course, and only 8 hits and 5 innings.
It seems
doing a good job.
Yeah, it seems like it feels like a game that has more runs because we've seen lots of hits and sort of errors as well. Of course, Bonn left the bases loaded. They won inning. Seidel looks in at his catcher. But yeah, it has a feeling of more offense than there really has been, again, because of the errors. And that's fouled back. Paderborn, 3 errors. Bonn, 2 errors in the game. 5 hits for Bonn, 3 hits for Paderborn. And all the offense, came in the second inning. So it's been a few innings since we've had a runner across plate.
With the first game in the finals, a bit of nerves maybe, and some of the hitters as well.
Oof. He got in front of that one, Schultz did.
Good job to stay alive.
Yeah, but he was on that. He wanted that. 0-2 count, 2 out, 2-0 score. Bottom of the 5th inning. If you're coming to the game tomorrow, come early. Enjoy the food on offer as well. Big head out into right field. Right fielder comes in and he's got it, and that'll end the inning. And the score will remain, despite that mini threat, 2-0 Caps over the Untouchables so far. We head to the top of the 6th after this.
Der Deutschen Telekom, der Dr. Schutzgruppe und der Firma Käfer Construction GmbH außerdem den Sponsoren Wohlanslieferer und Verpackungsservice, Windlichtdossenziger, Robinson Physio, Privatpraxis für Physiotherapie, der DHL, Bongas, Robinson Outfit und der Kobo und natürlich dank der Stadt Bonn für die Unterstützung des Monat Base und Softballsports. Und jetzt gibt es auch bei den Caps den ersten Wechsel. Großer Applaus für unseren Starter, nicht mehr auf dem Mount, der Mann mit der 22, Bobby! Und einen noch viel größeren Applaus für den Mann, der jetzt auf dem Mount steht. Mit der Nummer 9, Sascha!
It can take up to an inning to get his fastball really up and going. But once he gets to that magical point almost, he often seems pretty unhittable.
Yeah, he's had some injuries in the past. I remember it was a couple of years ago. He was raking the field and he broke his finger. I mean, he's had his share of unfortunate accidents. So 2-2 count. Nobody out here. And he strikes him out. Welcome to the game. Sasha comes in with a strikeout, 1 out. And that'll bring up, after Reinhardt is Llewellyn. And he has flown out to right field and grounded out to the second baseman in the first inning.
The only switch hitter on the Paderborn squad.
Sasha looks in. He's got some good velocity on those pitches, and that comes in for a strike.
Bonn head coach Mike Schmidt's not taking any risks, making that pitching change rather earlier than too late.
Oof, he's way out in front of that, but boy, he got a lot of bat on that.
That was the fastball up in the zone I was talking about.
You simply need to make contact with it for it to travel a long distance. 1-2 now. With Llewellyn is in the hole.
It was so ahead on that fastball, really wanted to get to it, so maybe a curveball in order here to get him out.
That's inside. Boy, it's a full house here today as Max Paulus shows us his best dance routine up here. I'm going to have to put the blinders on. But joined by the Paulus brothers in the booth today, Max and Tom. Boy, this is a privilege. So 2 up and 2 strikeouts now for Sasha Koch. And that will bring up Finn Bergman.
Well, you made a great point up there.
What about the
dancing? It reminded me of something I wanted to do all broadcast long, which is talk a little bit about last night's MLB game.
Wait, hold on.
Action.
We've already talked about this. We don't need to belabor the point.
Yeah, it was one game you talked about.
Listen. You're okay. I thought you were going to go on about the Angels. Yes, go on if it's all other games. Of course, no problem.
So the Dodgers beating the Marlins 10-6 in 10 innings. Reds over the Nationals 7-3.
What a shock.
Pirates losing to the Phillies 4-7.
That's because the Pirates suck. Go on.
Mets walked it off against the Rockies 1-7-6. Red Sox beating the Rays 9-8.
Shock.
Rangers 1-7-6 over the Tigers. Orioles.
How many fans did they get for that game? About 20?
Probably. But the Orioles beat the Astros at Minute Maid Park.
You're kidding.
2-0.
Well, the Baltimore Orioles are looking better this year. A lot better.
Do. Padres over the Royals 13-5. Twins.
Swing and a miss there. Sorry to interrupt. 1-2 is the count now.
Twins over the Giants 9-0.
The Giants, huh? Did you hear that, Angela? Okay.
D-backs beating the White Sox 7-2. Cubs over the Brewers 4-3. Braves over the Cardinals 11-4, and the Yankees beating the A's 3-2.
Oh, that's a shame.
And of course, most important game of them all.
Okay, so we don't have any more time for the updates. Yes, let's not talk about that game from last night, the Jays and the Angels, shall we? All right. 1-2 is the count, and 2 out. Bergman at the plate. Sasha coming in hot. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out the side. Sasha Koch saying, I'm here, and my voice is heard. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th right after this on Caps TV. Welcome back to the game. We were just bad-mouthing each other's favorite major league teams up here. You're very happy the mic wasn't on. But here at this game, very important first game of the finals, 2-0 is the score. The Capitals over the Untouchables. But a tenuous lead, so Bonn's going to want to add some insurance runs. Eddie Stummel at the plate. Sorry, Danny Sanchez. I'm way ahead of myself. I need to refocus. Danny Sanchez grounds out, and that will bring up Vinny Aarons. My score sheet is a little behind.
So Saddle's been really effective so far, and he's got a 4.05 ERA so far in the playoffs, lowering that down a bit so far this game. 16 strikeouts and 20 innings pitched. So he's had a lot of work, but he's been pretty good so far today.
Yeah, and the story of the game today is errors and hits, of course. Bonn has 5, Paderborn has 3, and another bunt. Is that going to stay fair? No, it doesn't. It bounces, it rolls foul. So, Lamb Hunt had one up the third base side, and Aarons thought he'd try and send one down the first, but it just, I think it rolled off that lip of the grass. It's beyond that chalk line.
Bit of a surprise to see him bunting because he almost never does that as a lefty when he's batting from the left side, which would be a bit better to try to drag bunt from.
He's 2 for 2 on the day today, too. So, yeah, I agree. I'm a little surprised to see him bunting. Is he going to try again? Nope. That's outside. 1-1. 1 out. Yeah, as we said, 2 and 2 on the day. Now, just to finish those stats, Paderborn has 3 errors. Bonn has 2. And a swing and a pop-up just beyond the first base side is the second baseman comes over and grabs that. Takes the fly, and that's 2 down. I was wondering who is going to ultimately get that one. Looked like the first baseman going back. You know, the rule when I played was always that the runner, the fielder coming in is the one who should take those, but...
Yeah, I think it looked like the first baseman, Nick Sturf, lost that one a little bit.
Yeah. So, Lankos comes up. Seen some action on the bases today. He's got an RBI and run.
Good fastball. Caught corner of the strike zone.
Yeah, 0-1 is the count. 2 out. Not a lot of action for Bonn, base running wise, really since the 4th inning, and even then, not a lot. Really, I almost have to look back to the 2nd.
Seidel's not a new arm to them. They beat him twice in the regular season.
Yeah, he seems to be getting at them today, though. 1-2. Count. He's thrown 36 pitches. He's only got 1 strikeout. And yeah, holding them off the bases so far.
I mean, he's used to be starting games, so he'll have a couple more innings in him.
Big swing and a miss there, and he strikes out, and that'll end the bottom of the 6th inning for the Capitals. We move to the top of the 7th. 2-0 is the score for the Caps. We'll be right back on Caps TV.
Deine Hut. Kein Vielleicht, kein Morgen, kein Gestern.
Das Talent und das Potenzial ist da.
Versuch es, wie du es noch nie versucht hast.
Hoffe ich doch, dass wir am Schluss dann in Berlin dabei sind.
Spiel für deine Geschichte und die Hut.
Die FIBA Eurobasket 2022. Live bei Magenta TV und Magenta Sport.
wouldn't.
Top of the 7th inning as we head into the back third of this game. There are no extra innings, that is, of course. It's going to be Sasha Koch back on the mound, and Nadir Latifi swinging up the first pitch, grounding at 2-2. Bit of a bobble there by Eddie Stamler, but...
Oh, he's smooth like butter out there. This looks good. Bobble, but he's got it under his belt. No problem.
Routine, making it look routine.
He's like, look at this. This is no problem.
So quickly, after one pitch, Latifi is retired for the first down. And Luca Rammelmann is going to step up next.
So the Rammelmann is 0 for 1 today. He hit into a 5-4-3 double play earlier on in the 4th inning.
That's a beauty of a curveball. That's Sasha Koch.
That was nice.
Kind of a get-me-over curveball, just middle of the zone. Rammelmann not expecting it. Gets ahead 0-1.
Rammelmann, 229 on the season, batting average, at least coming into the game in these playoffs. I shouldn't say season, in the playoffs these stats are all from. Yeah, he flew out to center field in the first. Yeah, and then, as I said, hit into that double play back in the 4th.
It's down 0-2 now after 2 good curveballs. Probably see a high fastball now, would be my expectation.
Yep.
And just like that, 3 pitches, he is retired. Woo. Sasha Koch looking dominant out there so far. Not really any solid contact by the Paderborn offense.
So he struck out his last 4 of 5 batters.
That's certainly a way to do it since coming in.
Yeah, and to put that in perspective, he's only thrown 17 pitches. So, not bad.
As that one stroked into right field, and it's just going to get down in front of Wilson Lee. Thought about diving for that, but didn't want to risk it.
You could see the thought was there.
But if that got past him, that's easily 3, if not 4 bases.
I think he made the right choice.
Yeah, definitely. That was Ladislaus Landwehr, who's now on first after that first pitch single. He got the bat to it nicely and got some hard contact with that line drive single into right. So maybe a little bit of 2-out thunder for Paderborn. It's going to be Linus Nixdorf. Takes that first pitch breaking ball in the dirt.
Yeah. Nixdorf is 1 for 2 today. He's 143 batter average. His average 143 on this in the playoffs. Wearing number 27. It's got a good lead out there at first.
And another line drive. Just about the same hit into right.
He's going to third.
Going to third without a throw.
Yep.
So 2 straight singles for Paderborn 7 and 8 hitters. We'll get runners to the corners with 2 down. So Sasha Koch, after getting 2 quick outs on 4 pitches, has now got 2 runners on the bases, and the tying run is over there at first all of a sudden.
That's right. After striking those, 4 out of the previous 5 batters, he comes in and promptly puts 2 on base. He was, when I say he, Landwehr was going to third the whole way.
So for this next at bat, time call and Clemens Tushotsky. I think he's going to kill me when he re-watches this live stream about me slandering his name. Still working on that.
I've slandered 3/4 of the names of the players in this league. Don't worry.
But a quick mound visit.
Yeah, just to calm down and remind Sasha Koch of the pitcher that he is and the potential danger now on the bases. Now, even with 2 out.
Both of those hits were on fastballs, so maybe that was something that he told him, because it was the first pitch off speed to get ahead 0-1.
Eberhardt is 0 for 2, and he is the number 9 hitter. He does have a 167 average, but you can't take anything for granted. But if you're going to get a guy out, this is the guy to get.
And another great curveball. It's quickly 0-2.
Yeah.
So someone realized they were looking for fastballs. And now, so far in this at-bat, Sasha Koch relying on his soft stuff. See what he goes to 0-2.
I'm interested to see this. I still say you go fastball here. And with your number 9 hitter, let's see him hit it. he doesn't have the average to show that he can do it very well. But look at what happened the last time I made a prediction.
I don't know, and 2, you can elevate your fastball, make it not hittable. But he goes curveball, and it's ground to the right side. Eddie Stommel over
Look at that.
to his left, making it look routine once again.
Eddie.
Sasha Koch getting out of trouble in the top of the 7th. No runs for Paderborn. Score remains 2-0 in favor of Bonn as we head into the bottom of the 7th.
It hasn't been such a long time since people first started shopping online, and it was easy to keep up with the clicks. Little by little by little by more, the clicks added up to be more than the stores, and e-tailers worked harder than ever before, because they had to keep up with the clicks. All of a sudden, there are so many must-dos if you want to keep selling, like delivery there, no there, or there.
And make it tomorrow, first thing.
No time for borders. Gotta stay in control, to stay in the flow and continue to grow. But we'll help you. Keep up with the clicks.
Das ist Mia. Mia hat zu Hause einen richtig schönen Designboden, der aber auch leider oberflächige Schäden und tiefe Kratzer aufweist. Dr. Schütz hat dafür die Lösung mit Produkten für die Reinigung und Pflege, wie das Designboden-Pflegeset und um tiefe Kratzer zu beseitigen, das Scratch Fix Repair Set. Und damit Mia genau weiß, wie man ihre Böden zu Hause perfekt pflegt und schützt, gibt es unsere Tutorials auf dem Dr. Schütz YouTube-Channel. Für Mia und euch alle. Damit muss sich Mia nicht mehr um ihre Böden sorgen, sondern kann ganz beruhigt unsere Caps anfeuern. Go Caps!
This song sucks. Boy, not a Neil Diamond fan up here. Hi, welcome to the back to the game. It's the bottom of the 7th inning. Bonn is coming to the plate. And the score is 2-0, and I just realized you're calling this inning.
No problem, no problem.
Keep forgetting.
It's going to be 8-9-1 in the Bonn batting order, starting off with Justus Recki, who has the biggest hit of the game so far. And also, there's some action now once again in the Paderborn bullpen. It's their best reliever, Matt Kemp, warming up. Player and pitching coach.
Yeah, so Recki had that really nice double back in the 2nd. Couple RBIs.
And there's a line drive into left field, and it's his 2nd hit of the game. So putting his struggles aside in this game, showing up nicely with another base hit. That one on the line.
That was a beautiful hit. Really nice. Leadoff hitter on. Looking good.
That's what you want to see out of the bottom of your lineup. See if Eddie Stommel can follow up. Number 9 hitter. Hasn't had any success so far this game.
No, not yet. 0 for 2. Look at the fans. They want more runs. They want some insurance runs. Stummel's defensively being very strong today. He's been a solid presence like he usually is. 2nd.
Shows bunt.
Look at this bunting. Look, love this small ball.
And that's perfect for a situation like this. Close game late.
Yep.
You just move the runner into scoring position, and just like that.
I have a feeling Bonn's been practicing this in the last few weeks.
It's perfect now. Top of the lineup coming back up to hit.
Yeah.
And you got a runner in scoring position with just one down. It's going to be Eric Brank. But first, we'll see a mound visit.
Right. Is Kemp coming in? Oh, here comes the fastest pitching coach in the world.
I think it's the head coach.
Head coach.
Jendrik Speer. Let's see what the decision is in the Paderborn coaching staff. Sorry.
No, I always get a chuckle. I mean, how slowly a manager can get out there in these situations when you're trying to let the guy warm up in the pen.
Exactly. Kemp just went out there like 2 minutes ago, at the start of the inning. So, looking to give him some time.
The umpire's already on his way out. He's like, you used up half your time just on the walk over. Which reminds me of the scene in Bull Durham. Wedding present to get.
And now, making a bit of light conversation with the umpire, just to keep the Bonn visit going a bit longer.
The umpire chimes in with his opinion on who should come in or not come in.
Smiles all around.
All right, it looks like they're done. And nothing happened. That's looks like they're going to stick with the status quo.
We should time the next one. Maybe that's Guinness World Record or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And tomorrow's game, by the way, since we're mentioning that, again at 2 o'clock. Come on out. It's a great atmosphere at the game. We're having a lot of fun here, and you should join it.
And there's no better baseball to watch in Germany than the finals.
That's true. Not really a lot of other choices, are there?
Nah, not too much. There are, of course, playdowns going on in the south. But now back to the action here. Runners still at second base, as that fastball catches the top of the zone for strike one, to the dismay of some of the Bonn fans out there.
A lot of umpires in the stands,
as always.
Yeah.
So 1-1 the count to the Bonn shortstop. Next pitch coming in, he drives it into the gap. That's the base hit. Justus Recchi is being waved home. The throw is offline, way offline. The run scores. Justus Recchi scores the third run. Eric Brink makes it 3-0 in the bottom of the seventh, and also takes second base on the throw. Yeah. So small ball working to perfection once again.
Hey, you said it, Tom. That's exactly the result of that sac bunt by Stummel. And the Bonn fans loving this, of course. But that swing by Brank's got such a beautiful swing. Those two hits that we've seen in this inning almost ended up in the same place. They were almost carbon copies of each other. Oh, here's Wilson Lee.
That really shows that they're starting to time up.
Yeah.
Seidel more on the mound. They've got perfect timing on both of those swings. And they're going to walk Wilson Lee, who struck out 3 times to start the game.
Yeah, I'm rubbing my eyes here a little bit. Look, no disrespect to Lee. We all know there's power, etc., etc. But the facts remain. He struck out 3 times
and
today.
They're bringing up the best hitter in the Bonn lineup just to get the double play set up. And we got a little bit of a break once again.
Oh, here he comes again. And he's going to the pen already. Well, that was the fastest thing I've seen him do all day.
I mean, he has to now. It's a second round visit.
Yeah.
But really interesting to see the third base umpire immediately running out to the bullpen to get Matt Kemp out there going a little bit faster, maybe.
Yeah, so Seidel does get a hand as he comes off the mound. Look, I'm a little confused, as I'm sure you are, about why Wilson Lee is at first. But he has to set up the double play, but to get to Lamb Hunt. Shall we take a little break while the pitcher comes in? Let him warm up a bit. We'll come back to you to tell us a little about more about what we know about Matt Kemp. We'll be right back. Be replaced by Matt Kemp. And let me tell you about Matt Kemp, all right? Look, he's got, in these playoffs, 19 strikeouts, an ERA of .54, and he's pitched 16 and a bit innings, and he's 3-0, 3 wins and 0 losses in these playoffs. So Bonn steps in against a very good pitcher.
And it's really remarkable. He's 39 years old, American-born. Made his Bundesliga debut all the way back in 2008. Won Best Pitcher in both 2011 and 2016. And what makes him great is his pitch selection and pitch combination. He's got a really good cutter to go with the slider, a four-seam fastball, and a curveball. And his breaking balls are really the most effective, and he gets a lot of outs with them. Let's see what the Bonn hitters can do against him.
Yeah, and let us remind the watchers, what has happened recently is that they put Wilson Lee on first base, gave him an intentional walk after Lee struck out 3 times today to get to Lamb Hunt, who's 2 for 3 today.
And has been the best Bonn hitter in all of the playoffs.
So
in the number 3 spot.
Confusing choice for sure.
Now we got 2 runners on base, on first and on second with only 1 down.
Rank at second, Wilson Lee at first.
One pitch coming from Kemp. Is right in there. That was his cutter, which tends to be his most hittable pitch if there is any, because it often finds center parts of the zone, and his breaking balls are almost unhittable and in very nice locations. So that cutter is where you gotta get your hits in, get your good contacts in.
Yeah, if you're Bonn, this is the guy to have at the plate, though. Oof. Didn't see that one very well.
That was a nasty slider. Got him swinging on just 4 pitches. See a glimpse of his dominance that he can have out there on the mound. There's a good reason why he's not only pitching still at his age, also the pitching coach for Paderborn, has been for a while now.
Yeah, and it shows you why perhaps they walked Wilson Lee to get to Lamb Hunt. Maybe they knew something we didn't. Well, they know about their pitcher, that's for sure.
But I mean, a good breaking ball is usually what's the most effective to have success against Wilson Lee. So
yeah.
Late check to the third base umpire, but ruled not a swing and not a strike. John Schultz back in his favorable matchup versus a righty.
Jeez, if you're Bonn, you don't want to let this situation go by.
There's a hard grounder, but a nice stop by Linus Nixdorf at first base. Steps on first to retire the side. But the Capitals extend their lead by just 1 run. Lead is now 3-0 as we have played 7 full innings here on Caps TV. He'll look to get the Paderborn offense started in the 8th. As that one's fouled off, pretty deep down the right side. The count goes full.
Somebody's changing their kid out there, and the ball just landed to the left of them. I'm glad they didn't get hit. Don't turn your back on the field, folks, if you're at the game.
So 5 straight fastballs to get to a 3-2 count. You think we might see curveball here?
Yeah.
I would guess so too.
No, I don't think that was.
No. Maybe he's not all that confident he can locate it on 3-2.
Well, I think they're also expecting it maybe now, a 2-strike on a 2-strike count, but yeah.
But Sasha Koch is known to throw 2-strike fastballs a lot. And Bendrine knows that, catches Sasha Koch in the national team. So.
Ah, yes, battery mates, of course.
So, just shook off the curveball there and the fastball, and now we're going to see a changeup. As that one's tapped slowly in front of home plate. Tough play.
Somebody take it. Ugh. Nobody wanted that ball. Well, they weren't sure. They looked at each other, Ahrens and Koch, and nobody picked that up in time to get the speedy Bendrian.
He had so much speed, cut all the way to the batting cage out in deep right field. Now has to make his way back.
Jeez, I thought he was going to get milk.
So a rather lucky hit, perfectly placed for the Paderborn catcher.
I wonder how they're going to score that. I mean, So, I am looking at Reinhardt today is 0-3 at the plate. So if you're Sasha, you might want to come at him strong.
As I've just seen, the ambulance is now on the second field. Some of the softball players needing some help out there.
Looks like they're all right.
Reinhardt swings through that one. Count goes to 1-1.
Maybe they thought I was going to play today. I thought they were here for a precaution. Usually I need an oxygen tank or two if I'm rounding the bags.
1-1 pitch. Shows Bonn again, but pulls back.
Aarons might have had the right instinct there to go down to first base. It's a bit late coming back. The runner was. The runner being Bendrian.
Slid back in time, no throw, of course. So, huge at bat here, huge out to get for Sasha Koch.
Indeed, you got to get these guys at the top of the order. These are your good hitters.
2-1 pitch. Shows Bonn again.
Oof. Got him.
Pulls back, and it was a called a foul ball as it hit the bat as Reinhardt was pulling back.
It got the end of the bat then?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it hit his bat or his hand.
I thought it hit his hand just from we're of course sitting behind.
Oh, yeah, it was called immediately by home plate umpire Jens Weider, and Reinhardt made no motion as to that he was hit and in pain, so the right call there. A lucky break for
or a lucky non-break in a way. You hit the elbow on that.
And that one finds the outside corner. What a fastball by Sasha Koch in that spot. Reinhardt goes down via the backwards K for the first out of the 8th inning.
Nice pitch. That brings up Llewellyn. Llewellyn coming into the game is 194 hitter. He struck out back in the 6th, flew out to right field.
And really interesting to see right now. He's a switch hitter.
Yeah.
His first at bat against Sasha Koch, he hit from the left side.
Trying something new.
Now squaring up to hit from the right side. Maybe he's a switch hitter in the way that he changes sides every at bat. Not
maybe.
that I've seen that before.
That's quite the pattern.
Or maybe it is to prevent hitting a ground ball and hit into a double play. We will see. He's behind in the count, 0-2 after fouling off 2 straight.
But you'd think you'd want to be batting the left side of the plate, right-handed hitter. See the ball a bit better. Maybe not.
That's usually the approach of a switch hitter. Not with him. I must say, he's the only Welsh baseball player I know, so maybe it's a thing over there.
Yeah. Maybe those dastardly Welsh.
0-2 curveball hit into medium deep left center field, but no problem for Danny Lankhorst to make the catch for the second out.
Yeah, you can't miss a Welsh name. 2 L's, 3 L's in the name. I love it.
So after the leadoff single, I think it was scored a single.
I thought it would be scored a single as well. I don't see another error. That'll bring up Bergman.
Exactly. 2 quick outs for Sasha Koch after a leadoff single. Runner still at first base, and Finn Bergman, dangerous hitter.
Yeah, so he's 0 for 2 with a stolen base today. Hit by a pitch. That's what happened. That's how he got on base in the 4th.
Swings through that fastball. Didn't seem ready yet for that one. Way late. One more out probably for Sasha Koch to get today, as we don't expect to see him back for the 9th.
Right. And Paderborn hasn't gotten close to the plate in a long time, which is great if you're a Bonn fan. I mean, they got close, except when that throw came in from Wilson Lee to catch, trying to remember who they caught at home plate. Not very nice throw from right field. But since then, I mean, Paderborn's been kept out of the way of home plate for a while.
Big lead by Bendrina as that curveball.
It is a big lead out there. Surprised Aarons hasn't gotten him back. But 2 catchers understand. Bendrian's got his eye on Aarons for sure, home plate.
And also, Bendrin probably knows that Sasha Koch doesn't have the quickest pickoff move.
No.
He's on the mound, always just focused on getting the batter out. Behind in the count here, 2-1. That's a beautiful changeup. Stayed up a bit, but caught Bergman way out in front.
Yeah, he was hunting fastball on that one.
So, dangerous pitch, the high changeup, but it can be effective.
Might see the fastball here, though.
He was looking for the fastball all the way. So I also wouldn't be surprised.
You think he's going to go too?
Speed.
Yeah,
I think
another
he might
off
bounce one.
Probably.
But what do I know?
No, you've been on so far.
He went with the fastball, and that one's hit into the corner, and it's a foul ball. Oof. Out of our field of view, but that was a close.
It seemed close to me.
Well, that was the third base umpire right on the line to make that call. But he got all of that, pretty much.
Yeah.
Was waiting for the fastball, so maybe a curveball would have been the better idea.
Oh, you know what I wanted to mention? I heard a really great podcast the other day. You know, ESPN has these 30 for 30 broadcasts, podcasts that they do, and they had a show on that before. But they had a podcast about the longest game in history, and it featured Cal Ripken in the minor leagues and Wade Boggs in the minor leagues, and it was 33 and a half innings.
Wow.
It was brutal. It was great. It's a great podcast, so listen in if you can find it.
There's a ground ball routine to the shortstop, and there's the third error of the game for Eric Brenk, allowing Finn Bergman to reach first base, and Bendrin moves up to second base.
It's been a tough day out there in that shortstop position, both sides of for both teams. Just something about that spot today.
And that's dangerous because now it's going to be the tying run coming up to the plate all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
On a ball that should have ended the inning. It's going to be Nadir Latifi.
Yeah, that's Latifi coming up. That's that bad he grounded out to the second baseman.
It's a huge spot here in this game.
And again, we don't have a lot of stats, of course, for Latifi because he was injured for a while. Sasha being challenged here.
First pitch curveball too low. And of course, we mentioned it, but we might as well mention it again. Those are the outs you have to get in a series like this in the finals.
Absolutely. Opening day jitters. Both teams, 3 errors aside.
And remember, 2 of the Bonn runs scored because of 2 errors on the Paderborn side.
Yep. So Sasha looking to, of course, get out of this, and he's got 2 outs, but also 2 on.
Count is even at 1-1. Latifi looking to find the gap, probably. Bring in 1, maybe 2. That next pitch is fouled off to the right side. Good inside fastball. Jammed him up.
Yeah. He's 1 for 3 on the day today. 7 hits for Bonn, but Paderborn's come back with 6 hits. So teams are fairly even throughout the day, except, of course, in the run category. Paderborn showing they're going to make this a close series. They're not they are not pushovers to any extent, and they're showing it here.
They have great pitching to go with it. 1-2 pitch, curveball in the dirt.
Mm-hmm. That's
surprising to see.
2-2.
Arons not blocked that one.
Yeah.
With 2 runners on. They picked it out of the dirt. Count even at 2-2, and a good take by Latifi.
Yeah, runner at second not being held on at all. So obviously you want that third out.
I'll have to imagine the fastball now. Koch concept.
Setting up inside.
As that's a high chopper over at the second base bag. Throw from Frank is
got him
in time. Woo. Close play at first, but called out by first base umpire Tim Meyer. And that was huge for Bonn as the runner on second base, Bendrin, was already rounding and making his way towards home plate. Paderborn, still no runs on the board after 7.5 innings played. It's Paderborn 0, Bonn 3. Bottom half of the 8th. Another chance for Bonn to expand their lead. It's not going to be an easy task against star reliever of Paderborn, Matt Kemp. He's looking to keep it just this way going into the 9th. As Danny Sanchez takes the first pitch slider for strike 1. There's been a change in the outfield for Paderborn. Ian Eberhardt no longer in left field, and now it's number 3, Darian Richards. As that curveball stays up and the count goes even.
Yeah, so Sanchez 0 for 3 on the day. He's due.
Not really something you see out of him a lot. Usually very consistent hitter.
Kemp still on the mound.
That one stays up as well. Looked like could have been the cutter.
Yeah, Sanchez has been a bit quiet at the plate today. If you're Paderborn, you got to be a little suspicious about that. And if you're a Bonn fan, you got to be a little hopeful about that.
That one bounces in for ball number 3. So might get a base. Get the base on balls.
You know, I like to do this little thing. Today in baseball history.
Oh, please do.
After this pitch, we'll give it a shot.
As that one's lined into center field, but right at the center fielder, Bjarne Reinhardt. So bad luck there for Danny Sanchez as he's retired for out number 1.
In 1978, today in baseball, Joe Morgan of the Cincinnati Reds hit his 200th career home run to become the first major leaguer to have 200 homers and 500 stolen bases. And in 1990, today in baseball, the Brewers and the Blue Jays game is delayed 35 minutes when a huge swarm of gnats descends onto the field through the open Sky Dome roof. Milwaukee scratches out, ha ha ha, a 4-2 win.
That's going to be a first, I guess.
I remember
right?
that game.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah. That, only in Toronto. So the roof closes very slowly.
Oh. That fastball just caught the outside corner for strike 1.
Well, the very first game they had in Toronto, the roof had to close because it was raining, and then the roof got stuck just about as it was fully closed, and they had to delay the game because the rain was coming in one part.
Yeah, you don't see that in a lot of places.
No,
Even though the roofs are great for baseball, especially in the regions where you get a little more rain.
Yeah, we saw some of the updates they had to the ballpark here in Bonn. They look very nice. They're also trying similar things in Toronto because those old style caverns, cement caverns they have for games. They don't look so good anymore. Those all-purpose stadiums are kind of outdated, and it's so nice to see stadiums, of course, like in Chicago and in Baltimore. Fenway Park, too, of course.
Oh, of course. Doesn't get any more classic than that.
No, indeed.
Vinny Arons defending in this at-bat.
Yeah, he's 2 for 3 on the day. He's had a pretty good day at the plate.
Now, a 2-2 count.
Kemp's thrown 15 pitches. One strikeout.
Just get a piece of that. Breaking ball that stayed up a bit. Might have been the cutter as well as that. Does have a lot of break on it.
And look, why don't we sneak in the trivia question? We're heading into the 9th next inning, and just in case something happens. I mean, don't worry. They're always trick questions. This one was for Angela, so.
As we see a line drive that almost takes off Matt Kemp's head.
That
was scary.
He almost made him a lot shorter.
But Vinny Arons got his 3rd hit of the ball game. He's having a really nice day at the plate. He's on first.
All right, so let's get through this rather quickly. It's a quadruple choicer. Germans have long contributed to Major League Baseball. Don't look at my screen, sir.
Nah, I'm not.
And, of course, minor league baseball as well. From the following list, though, give me the person who has not appeared in Major League Baseball.
Not appeared in Major League Baseball. Oh,
and
God.
coincidentally, the odd name on the list, is actually not German. And all these who I'm going to list were born after 1940.
Ground ball. That's going to be an out at second. And the double play.
I never expected that was going to happen as I asked that trivia question. We'll get back to that in the next inning. Welcome back to Bonn, where the score is 3-0 in favor of the Bonn Capitals. We're going to get the trivia question out of the way earlier. We don't want it to interfere with anything in the game. So, again, I'm going to name a list of players that all appeared in the major leagues except one, right? They're all Germans except for one. Here's the names. Max Kepler, Robert Zimmerman, Craig Lefferts, Ron Gardenhire, Bruce Maxwell, and Phoenix Sanders. Now, Kepler, Zimmerman, Lefferts, Gardenhire, Maxwell, Sanders. Who is the person that has not appeared in a major league game and is not actually German?
So if I'm completely honest, I only know about one. So I'm only sure about one, so it's not Max Kepler because, of course, he's in the majors right now.
Yeah. And what do you think, Angela? Oh, Angela hasn't heard. Okay.
But I mean, if you say it's a trick question, it's got to be Zimmerman, right? Because that's the most German name out of all of them.
Well. You must have been looking at my screen.
No, I was not, I promise.
It was, in fact, Robert Zimmerman, because you know who Robert Zimmerman is?
I
Bob
don't think
Dylan.
so. Really?
He's Bob Dylan. That's Bob Dylan's original name, Robert Zimmerman. So I thought I would trick you guys. You like that?
That was a nice one. That had a little twist to it.
Angela's getting nervous, so let us refocus on the game that hasn't actually started yet. So, at bat, we have Ramoman.
And pitching is, of course, Bonn's closer, MLB veteran and Lithuanian Dovydas Neverauskas. Has not allowed a run at all since joining the Capitals, all of the regular season and the playoffs.
That's the guy you want on the mound then, as that is popped way up into right field. And Wilson Lee, boy, he had time to get lunch before that came down, and he grabs that first out here on the top of the ninth inning. Reminding viewers that, again, that there is another game tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So make sure you come out for that or tune in as well. You can find us in the same place. Number 28 now is Ladislaus Landwehr. He's 1 for 2 on the game today. In the game. He fouls that back.
They're being aggressive so far. First pitch out against Ramiman and now first pitch foul ball. Of course, Neverauskas, great closer for Bonn this season. Has not been touched up so far.
No, and speaking of the major leagues earlier, he was in the Pirates organization earlier.
Made his debut back in 2016, I think it was. Let me look it up real quick. Played until 2020 in the majors, then spent a year in Japan in the Japanese Professional League before joining the Capitals to start this year.
He's been to the show, so he's been in situations that have been dodgy before as he's got him on a strike, but throw down to first. And that was a little high by Aaron's man. But they get him nonetheless. Lamb Hunt reaches up, grabs it, 2 down. So, Paderborn down to their last out.
And that was rather quick so far this inning.
Indeed. Linus Nixdorf at bat. Number 27. 2 for 3 in the day. Yeah, Debbie steps in there, and he's he's got a presence on the mound, and they're indeed the batters when they step in look a little anxious.
And shares his walk-up music with Edwin Diaz from the Mets.
Yeah,
which always makes for an epic time.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to disparage the batter, but he's not even close on these as they're coming in.
0-2.
And a swing and a miss, or fouled back, I guess.
Almost held
Yeah.
on to by Vinny Arns behind the plate. But
Yeah.
he's almost looking like he's stepping out of the box as he's swinging.
Yeah, he's not a lot of confidence at the plate. 0-2 is the count. 2 out, and the pitch grounded foul just on the foul part of the third base line. Number 66 out there on the mound, looking powerful. Bonn fans can taste a win. A win moves Bonn into a powerful 1-0 position. And the pitch outside. 1-2.
Good slider, good attempt. With how much Nick Storff has been swinging this at bat, but he's able to lay off that one.
It's been a game of hits, game of errors. Pitch low, trying to get him to chase one. But if I'm pitching and the confidence is lacking at the plate, I'm firing fastballs in.
Oh, and he's got a good fastball. He's
Yeah.
got a mighty fastball, sitting in the mid-90s.
Set and delivery. Foul back. He's hanging in there.
Pulling together, really good at bat.
Dovidas has a 2-2 count. 2 out, 3-0 Bonn. Pitch. And a chopper down to first base. Lamb Hunt taps it. The bag, and that'll do it. 3-0. Bonn holds Paderborn scoreless in game 1. A game, yes, of a few errors as we read the last lines of the game. 6 hits for Paderborn, 3 errors, no runs. Bonn, 3 runs on 8 hits and also 3 errors. And I believe all those had taken place at the shortstop position today. But nonetheless, it results in a W. And Tom, before we sort of sign off, what looked good to you in the game today, or where did you see Bonn coming through?
Oh, it was mainly the pitching. The batting, hitting struggled a little bit. Really good pitching performance by both sides. So the Bonn pitching, of course, Maurice Wilhelm, Sascha Koch, Dovidas Neverauskas, as always, they looked all really great. Really, not a lot of threats, just in 2 innings where Paderborn strung together a couple of hits. So they've been really held at bay, and not letting them score is how you win games. So looking forward if they can keep it going tomorrow.
Indeed, and we want to see some of those Bonn batters starting to turn things around a little bit, particularly maybe Wilson Lee, for example. I don't want to put too fine a point on that, but those bats do need to come alive if they really want to make this a short series. But in the meantime, thank you very much as Bonn salutes the audience here live. We also salute you, those who have tuned in for the game today. On behalf of Tom and Max and Angela and Fabian, thank you very much for watching, and don't miss the game tomorrow at 2 p.m. Goodbye, everybody.